Hi. Okay. All right. We're going to stop wasting time. We're going to go ahead and hop into the debates. Let's pull that first guest up. If you're in the queue, make sure that you're from America, at least 18 and ready and willing to come up here and have a debate. We got that first guest loaded in. What's up, bro? You Maga? Okay, it's a bunch of children, so we already have the first rule breaker of the day. You know, honestly, the day that we are able to get our first guest up here without a fuck ton of rule breakers will be the day I die, everybody. I mean, let me tell you. Tiershow, thank you for the $2 over on PayPal. And Lilia, thank you for the $25 over on PayPal. That is Lilia, saying we're bypassing Congress and going all out on war. Be safe. Hopefully we know what Donald Trump will do. Dude, I've been so anxious about it, but thank you for the $25, Lilia. It means the world, as well as Tiershow with the $10. Shout out to Lilia and Tiershow. But what's going on, Aria? Are you Maga?
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, so it's yet another kid. Okay, this isn't a daycare, guys. Follow the rules. We got Andrew loading up in. Once again, if you're one of the first 3.4 thousand people tuning in, make sure that we're double tapping on those phone screens, y'all. What's going on? Do you support Trump, Andrew?
Yeah.
Okay, how old are you?
Born in 2007.
So how old are you?
18.
Okay, what month were you born in?
May.
Okay, all right, and you said that you support Trump. So tell us, Mr. 18-year-old Andrew, why do you support such a terrible president?
Well, actually, he's like the best president in history.
The best president in history, okay. So the best president in history wants to send us back into war in the Middle East. The best president in history wants to reduce the after-tax income for 80% of Americans.
Oh, no.
The best president in history has, called for the termination of the American Constitution. Oh, boy.
Whoa. When did he call for the termination of the Constitution?
Oh, for sure, man. In December of 2022.
Well, that was 2022. It doesn't matter.
Right. Of course, it doesn't matter at all.
Wait, no, but if he declares war in the Middle East, then it means peace for the whole world. Because once Iran is bombed, then we won't have to deal with them anymore.
How did you feel about the first war in the Middle East? You know, the whole taking the weapons of mass destruction away from Iraq and Afghanistan under Bush. Well, that was a really quick war too. You know, we just bombed them, then we didn't have to deal with them anymore.
Did you hear the key word in your sentence there? Wait, did you hear the key word? Bush, not Trump.
Okay, but I'm saying that Trump seemingly wants to do the same thing Bush did.
But he's not Bush, so he'll do it better.
Okay, all right. Are you rage baiting? Because you don't really seem to have an argument.
No, I'm not rage baiting. I'm dead serious.
Okay, all right. Well, what is one thing that Trump's done that you support? In fact, tell me the best thing he's ever done that makes him the best president in history.
Supporting all of these illegal immigrants. Like, get him out of here, bro.
Okay, he's definitely rage baiting. We're going to move on to the next guest. Everyone, just give us a minute. If you're in that queue, make sure that means that you support Donald J. Trump. And then also, I do see everybody in the comment section spamming rip Adriana Smith. So yes, her child was delivered yesterday and she was taken off of life support. Jesus, I don't even like to think about it, man. It's seriously it's just so hard to think about. It's just such a disturbing tale. You know, like if you voted for that and you support it, you're just such a disgusting person. What's going on, MAGA 55? Do you support Trump?
Yes, I do.
Okay, all right. We're gonna go ahead and start the live over on YouTube. If you wouldn't mind giving me a second to go ahead and do that, that would be great. In the meantime, everybody, once again, make sure that we're double tapping away in that phone screen, y'all. And oh my God, what the fuck? Yo, RUARI with the $250 donation over on Venmo. Oh my God. RUARI. Thank you so much for the love, dude. What the hell? We just started the stream. We haven't even been live for 10 minutes and we already got RUARI dropping a $250 donation over on Venmo. Everybody show them some love down below in the comment section. That is literally so insane. Thank you. They say, hope you have a good live today. Well, I hope you enjoy my live today, okay? Thank you so much for your kindness. That is seriously insane. Everybody, please show RUARI some love down below in that comment section for at least the next 10 minutes because that's nuts. Thank you so much for the $250 donation. We're going to go ahead and hop into the next conversation here, and while we're going to get the live started over on YouTube. So we're going to refocus the debate, but guys, seriously, please show some love to them down below. And welcome into everybody tuning in over on YouTube. It is so good to have you in here with us today. We are going to go on and hop into the first debate. We already have the first debater up on the live, Maga 55. But guys, keep in mind, while we're hopping into this first debate, please show some love to RUARI down below in that comment section. But take it away, Maga 55. Tell us why you support the man, the myth, the failure, die be done.
Well, there's many things why I support him, but what do you think about this whole Iran situation?
Oh, yeah, Jesus Christ. You know, I thought, that kind of Bush told us, showed everybody in this country that endless war in the Middle East is a bad thing that costs American lives. I don't know, waste trillions of dollars so many years and cost so many lives of individuals.
Yeah, I mean, the first time
destabilizes the region, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, yeah.
Yeah, the first time going in was a complete failure. It was a waste of money, but
Right. So why would the second time be any different?
Because Iran's actively trying to get weapons of mass destruction, unlike how Bush lied to go in.
Oh, okay. So why are they actively trying to develop nuclear weapons?
I mean, it's their right to. I mean, it's their right to, but I think it's just very dangerous for a country like Iran to have that in their arsenal.
Yeah, I think that there's other ways to prevent them from having nukes, such as a nuclear peace agreement. And you know what? They're actually open to that. Obama did that, but then Trump pulled us out. Here's my thought. So on one hand, I mean, I don't want them to have nukes either. In fact, I don't really want any country on earth to have nukes. I wish we could denuclearize every single
me
country.
too.
And then on the other hand, I don't want to, start war with them. So, I mean, I think that there's a happy median of probably just re-entering into another nuclear peace agreement with them.
Yeah, I mean that'd be good.
Right, better than starting a war with them. But yeah. Donald Trump doesn't want a ceasefire. He wants apparently a war.
Yeah, I mean, I think he doesn't trust Iran. I think he doesn't trust them to uphold their bargain of a.
Well, he doesn't have any reason to. I mean, do we have any evidence that they violated it last time?
No.
Right, exactly. So it's incredibly dangerous to suggest that we could just assume that they want to honor the agreement with no evidence, even though we had an agreement with them before that they didn't seem to violate, and then start bombing sites in the country and starting a war with them. I mean, that's just fear mongering to the max.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So why do you support him?
I support him because I think he's a way better candidate than Kamala. I mean. Inflation rates are already way down below what Biden and Kamala had in 4 years at 2.35% today.
Actually, core inflation's up at 2.8%. That's what the Feds use because it ignores products with prices that frequently fluctuate.
2.8% would still be lower than what Biden and Kamala had over.
Sure. So what did Donald Trump do to reduce the pricing of goods?
I don't know exactly what he's done to do it, but he has done it. I mean, I haven't done my own personal research into why, but he has done it. You know?
I have. Oh, I know why prices are down right now. It's because in the first financial quarter of this year, he threatened his tariffs and then he imposed his tariffs. That caused a 44% increase in imports into America because American companies were stockpiling either the goods that they sell or the means that they needed to produce the goods that they sell. And they did that before the tariffs hit. So that meant that they had more goods to sell. Okay, so we had an increase in supply. But, we are also now seeing that consumer confidence is at an all-time low, and it crashed starting with the introduction of his tariffs. So individuals were less confident in spending their money, right? So in other words, demand went down. So what happened was supply went up, demand went down, and prices, equilibrium price of any good, went down as well. And that is inflation going down, but I'd say the mechanism that caused it to decrease is incredibly unstable and is an indicator of a recession, and that's also why we had negative GDP growth in that quarter. So I wouldn't say that Donald Trump has done anything positive to reduce inflation.
I mean, yeah, that's just one that we'll have to wait out and see how that plays out. If you're right or if I'm right.
Actually, no. Everything that I just talked about already happened. So that's all macroeconomic data from the first quarter.
A recession.
No, I'm saying what caused the inflation was an indicator of a recession. That's what I said, and that's true. That is true. Yeah. So when we have a massive reduction in consumer confidence, making people spend less money, and then we have companies hoarding goods produced in other countries. Yeah, that's a recession indicator. Yep, because the companies are spending their money outside of the economy, and the consumers are spending less money in the economy. Yep, that's an indicator of a recession. Absolutely.
Yeah. Okay. So what do you think about the amazing tariff deal that Trump got us with China?
Oh, yeah, super amazing. Yeah, hell yeah.
Yeah,
55%. Woo! Americans
yeah,
paying
it
55%
is
more
amazing.
for goods produced in China. That's great. Making consumers
So
pay
when
more.
does
That's
that come
awesome.
into an effect?
That's
That has not
awesome.
come into effect yet.
Well, whenever it's implemented and we start to see the new shipments of from cargo ships with those goods, I mean, hey, we're gonna pay it, man.
Ever since the tariff was implemented, though, we've been receiving cargo ships. So where's the price increase?
Well, it has to be there, so it's on whatever goods are coming in. It's like who pays the tariff, right? I mean, we know that the Chinese producers aren't, just taking that hit. It's not like they operate with profit margins over 55%, so they can't take the hit or they go out of business. So who's taking the hit, man? It's the consumer at the end of the day. The importer can't eat that. The producer can't eat that. So who's it passed off to? It's passed off to the consumer. And I mean, I'm not an economic professor or anything. I can't explain to you, when this should hit or what will cause it to hit, or like what kind of delay we should expect. Okay, that goes over my head. But I mean, right, we could agree that both the producer and the importer don't operate with profit margins over 55%. So if they're going to stay in business, that's going to have to be passed off to the consumer.
Yeah. Okay. Well, we'll just see how that plays out.
I mean, it's the only option. Like, think about it. It's the only option. Who's going to consume
Wouldn't
it?
we just be making money though? Because they have a 10% tariff on us, while we have a 30% tariff on them.
It's actually 55. That was a historic deal. It was 55% tariff on them. So it's just So it generates our government more money. But once again, who's paying that? The
Yeah,
consumer.
which drops inflation. It makes a stronger economy.
It doesn't make a stronger economy because who's paying?
It does.
That
We get
money
more
to
money.
the government. No.
More value to the dollar.
No, think about it. We'd also get more money if we just increased taxes on like the bottom 30% of income earners. They'd be paying more in taxes. Our government would be getting more money. But would that make a stronger economy to be introducing a regressive tax that hurts the poorest among us? Absolutely not. But that's what the tariff does, man. The less money you make, the greater proportion of your income you spend on the bare necessities to live, and that is going to be seen with the tariff, because once that tariff is passed off to the consumer, and we see that the less money you make, the more you proportionally spend on what you consume to survive, the more you're going to proportionally spend on that tariff, on that tax. So all that money that's being collected by our government from that 55% tariff on China, well, we already agreed it's being passed off to the consumer, and I just explained to you how that regressively impacts you the less money you make more, meaning that the poorest among us are disproportionately paying that additional income to our government. So why the hell would you ever support a regressive tax that just hurts those that make less money?
Well, I'm actually, I really don't have the research and facts to debate you, Dean, because this is what you do. You know, you do it all the time. So
I do it for 4 hours.
I really
a day,
don't.
man.
Yeah, I don't have the personal research to debate you, but I've started getting into these TikTok debates. I've started doing a couple since yesterday. I debated your boy Parker. And I'm gonna start doing serious research so I can come back on here and really give you a good debate, Dean.
You know what? Actually, man, WU. I think that's great. I think that's a great thing.
Thank you.
Because that's exactly what I said when I started debating pro-choicers on TikTok. When I was pro-life, I said, I'm going to do serious research and I'm going to come back here and slam these pro-choicers. I did my serious research and I realized they were right. So, what? Whenever
I'm
somebody come up,
pro-choice as well. I'd like to say that I'm pro-choice.
oh man, well then dude. Okay, all right. Let me run you through something real quick. So if you're pro-choice and you agree that there's no good reason to restrict a woman or girl's access to like abortion in the first 20 weeks, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm
All right.
pro-choice.
Well, will we say that it's a human rights violation to infringe upon somebody's bodily autonomy unless we have good reason to do so? Like think kidnapping.
Wait, say that again. Sorry.
Can we agree that it's a human rights violation to infringe upon somebody's bodily autonomy unless we have good reason to do it?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, we just agreed that we don't have good reason as it relates to infringing upon a woman's access to abortion, meaning that when we do infringe upon a woman's access to abortion, we are violating their human rights. And now
Yeah,
Donald Trump's policy to overturn Roe v. Wade and send it back down to the states has emboldened red states to restrict upon 66 million American women's right to access elective abortions, meaning that Donald Trump's intentional actions, serving as the president of America in his first term, opting to nominate justices to overturn Roe v. Wade, directly led to 66 million human rights violations.
Wait, so is Trump trying to ban abortion, or is he just trying to shorten the weeks and months that they can get it?
So, I mean, he said that he holds the 3 exceptions, but at the end of the day, he's given states the total ability and power to do whatever the hell they want, and that has led to 66 million human rights violations that we just agreed on. That's like really bad, bro. And I mean, this isn't just something that is true from my perspective, but it's also true from your perspective since you said you were also pro-choice. So how can you support a president that has directly entailed 66 million human rights violations in this country?
I mean, I just support the man. I think Kamala would do a lot more damage to our country overall than what Trump does. You know, I'm not going to agree with everything the man does.
Okay, all right.
I really wish
That's a nuts claim, bro, because, you know, we just agreed that he's caused 66 million human rights violations. What would have Kamala Harris caused that would have been worse than that?
Well, the thing is, I mean, there's not 66 million women that can't get an abortion. Abortion is legal, right?
Actually, no. That is the precise amount of women in America that do not have access to elective abortions. Yeah.
Why don't they have access?
Because their states banned it after Donald Trump allowed them to.
What states are those?
I wouldn't be able to give you the name, but I think there's 26 or 27. But there's
So,
27
I'd
states
guess
that have restricted a woman's elective access to abortion in the first 20 weeks of pregnancy. You know?
Oh, so they can get an abortion.
No, they can't. No.
So how is this not all over the news that abortion has been banned in 26 states?
I mean, because I think it's not like talked about every day because everybody just kind of knows it because people live in these states. You know, like if you're a woman that lives in Texas, then you know it's banned. If you're a woman that lives in Georgia, then you know it's banned. If you're a woman that lives in Alabama, you know it's banned. If you're a woman that lives in Tennessee, you know it's banned. If you're a woman that lives in Kentucky, you know it's banned. If you're a woman that lives in Utah, you know it's banned. It was on the news when it first happened, but like now it's just like common sense. You know, like
I've never even heard of it.
Like knowing that 66 million American women and girls don't have access to elective abortions in America and like 26 of our states is like knowing water's wet.
Yeah, I've never heard of this. I feel like an idiot, but I'm ready to research that right after I get off of here. But
all right. So I mean, do you think that you could name anything that Harris would have done to America that is worse than that? Because that's nuts, dude. I don't think you would be able to do that. That's really bad, okay? And, you know, like, and you don't hear me talk about this with a lot of Trump supporters because a lot of Trump supporters are pro-life. They don't think they're human rights violations, but you do. You said that you're pro-choice. You agreed they're human rights violations. So even from your perspective, you recognize that there's 66 million American women today that are having their human rights violated because of an action of Donald Trump. That's like, what's worse than that, dude?
I don't know. I mean, I can only imagine what Kamala would have done, but I mean, they sent
Kamala.
billions to Ukraine to fund the war and let in thousands and thousands of immigrants.
So you think that sending humanitarian aid, that we are contractually obligated to do so because of a memorandum we signed with a country in the 90s, to support a victim of an ethnic cleansing is worse than causing 66 million human rights violations?
I don't know what to say.
You say no, Dean. It's not worse. That's what you say. You say no, obviously not. You say that you take $32 billion to the victim of an ethnic cleansing over 66 million human rights violations every single day of the week. Thank you for the motorcycle.
Yeah, well, like I said before, I'm gonna go and do a lot of research. You will talk to me again soon, Dean. I will be back.
You know what?
I will be back.
I'll take it. I'll take it.
We're gonna put a pause on this debate and resume it another day.
I'll take it. You know what? Out of all the outcomes, That one is not the most preferable, because the most preferable outcome is you being like, oh, Dean, I'm wrong. I no longer support Trump. But the second most preferable outcome is you not saying that I'm wrong, but saying you got to do more research. I'll take that. I'll take that. Have a good rest of your day, man.
Yeah, you too, man.
All right. We're going to move on to the next guest. Like I just told him, like that's probably like the second best option. That's the second best outcome of a debate. You know, like we could agree the best outcome is for them to be like, oh, Dean, dude, you're right. I no longer support you. The second best outcome is I'm going to go turn around, do my research, and come back. That's all awesome. Okay. All right. We're going to go get our next guest up here. If you're in that queue, make sure that means that you're from America, at least 18, and support Trump. Let's go to get that next guest up here right now. While we do, I would like to thank Josephine for the $15 over on PayPal. Thank you so much for that. They say, thanks for being another Gen Z advocate for the right side history. I appreciate that, Josephine. Show some love to Josephine down below in that chat, as well as Brian with a 15 saying, why can't MAGA wrap their heads around I pay tariff and tariff make me poor? I don't know, man. You know, it's really hard explaining basic economic principles, but you know, like I said, that guy, he was willing to hear me out, and he said he was going to do more research, so I'll take it. But thank you, Brian and Josephine. You guys are awesome. What's going on, Gabrielle and Gio? Do you guys support Trump?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, I'm going to kick you. You got some background noise. You said that you were MAGA, right, Gio?
Yeah.
All right, could you speak up a little bit? Maybe get a little bit closer to that mic. Turn off any Bluetooth devices.
Yeah, can you hear me now? Can you hear me now?
I can. Do you possibly have like AirPods in or anything like that?
I have headphones in.
Yeah, can you disconnect those possibly?
Yeah, I got you.
Cool. Catherine, I appreciate you so much for that subscription. There we go. That's much better. All right. Also, Brandon.
Can you hear me now?
I sure can. Gio, take it away. Tell us why you support the man, the myth, the failure, Dipey Donald.
So, the reason I support him is just gas prices, honestly, home prices and everything like that, and for our safety, really.
Okay. How old are you?
22.
22. All right. You got a little bit of background noise. Are you in the gym?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, I mean, if you want to debate me while you're at the gym, take it away. But I'm going to put you on mute while I'm responding to you just because there's a bit of background noise. Now, you're talking about home prices and gas prices. Let's start off with the second one. Can you name any housing affordability policy that Donald Trump wants to implement? Anything. Like, I mean, from like the day he announced his campaign for the second term until 150 days after his presidency started, can you name any policy that he's like even suggested to lower the pricing of houses?
Unfortunately, I can't really.
Okay, right, because he doesn't have any. Why would we vote for Trump? Why would we support Trump for lower housing prices when he doesn't have any policy to lower the pricing of houses? That doesn't make any sense, Joe.
Yeah. What about the war? What are your thoughts about that?
Okay, we'll move on. I suppose we'll move on. Well, I don't support starting another endless war over baseless accusations of weapons of mass destruction in the Middle East. I thought that we've already learned this one, but you know, apparently a couple of the new gens don't quite know about Bush. Yeah, it's definitely not starting America first to go back into a war in the Middle East. I mean, it cost trillions of dollars. Last time it cost thousands of American lives. Increases global tensions. It's a mess, man. We shouldn't be involved.
What about the I'm trying to think. If there was a war, when do you think it would even start by chance?
It already started. The war already started.
Into the U.S. is what I'm saying.
Well, okay, all right. Well, that's actually something that there's some different positions on. So one position is that we're already involved in the war. We've already started war with Iran because, you know, Donald Trump said that we have control over Iranian airspace and we know where their supreme leader is and we can kill them. We're just not going to do it yet. So there's one angle. Now, the other angle is to say that if Donald Trump does decide to use our bunker blasters to bomb the underground uranium enrichment facilities, that would be when the war starts. So either it already has started because Donald Trump says we control their airspace and we could kill their leader, or it might start really soon, according to the New York Times and even interviews that he gave this morning saying that he might bomb them.
What do you think on like what type of war would be like a nuclear, like what cities would be states would be invaded and all that?
Oh, like war into America? No, I don't think any of our 50 states would be hit. What we'd see from Iran would probably be them bombing some of our military operations in the Middle East. But yeah, man, why do you support Trump?
What was that?
So, I mean, how do you feel about that? Why do you support somebody that might send us back into war in the Middle East? Yeah, where's the debate?
Can I call you after? Can I talk to you after the gym?
Yeah, bro, go get that pump. I was wondering why you even requested up in the first place. Go get that pump, bro. Go get that pump. Let's go and get that next guest. Jameson loading in right now, y'all. Everyone just got to give us a minute. All right, guys. Yo, Thomas, thank you so much for the $20 over on PayPal, saying you're absolutely awesome. I share your post to all of the MAGAs I can. That's awesome, Thomas. Guys, let's get 200 Thomas W's. Good for you, man. A true American patriot right there. Jameson, what's going on? Welcome into the live. Good to have you. If you want to unmute that mic and have a conversation with me, that'd be awesome. Are you MAGA?
I am Maga.
Olivia, thank you for the galaxy. How old are you?
I am 20 years old.
Same age as me. Wow, awesome. So why the hell do you support such a terrible president?
Now, I don't agree with everything he's done, but his stance on abortion is one of my, I believe in it.
Okay. You said the word abortion. I'm just going to assume that means that you're pro-life. Is that what you're talking about? You don't think that
100% pro-life.
100% pro-life. Amen, sister. Amen. Do you mind if I ask you why?
I just think that you're murdering innocent people.
You're murdering innocent people. Okay, and why is abortion murder?
You're terminating a pregnancy.
Why is terminating a pregnancy murder? Better question.
Sorry?
Better question.
You cut out.
I have a better question. What is murder? Can you define that silly little term?
Murder. I would have to say. To say.
Yeah. They're laughing. They're laughing it up. They're laughing it up. They're trolling. We're gonna go to get the next guest up here, y'all. Everybody, if you're watching, if you're one of the first 13.2 thousand people tuning in and you're MAGA and you'd like to come up here and debate, go ahead and drop a MAGA accompanied by your age down below in that comment section. We'll get you pulled up here. We'll have some good discussion. But yeah, anyways, guys, make sure that we're double tapping on that phone screen. Let's try to get up to 2 million likes. Hello. How old are you?
18.
How old?
18.
18. I'm sorry, I don't believe you.
Legal in
Moving on to
China.
the next guest. We're going to move on, everybody. Give us a minute. We got Lindsay loading up into the box. Y'all, we got Lindsay loading up into the box. Here we go. Lindsay's loading in. What's up, you MAGA?
Whoever is most likely to have a shotgun.
All right, Lindsay's just simply not here, so we're going to go ahead and move on. Quite difficult for us to find a Trump supporter today, everybody, but that is expected. That is typical. It is what it is. Now, let's go to get that next guest loaded into the box. It looks like Logan was loading in, but Logan dropped out. You know, if you're at least 18, you're from America, and you want to come up and debate, how about you let me know down below in that comment section. We'll get you pulled up. Really, just trying to find anybody that's willing. What's up, man? You support Trump?
Yes, sir.
And how old are you?
25.
And what have I told you that you're batshit insane for supporting Trump?
I mean, every to each his own. Everyone has their own opinion.
Right. So why do you support him?
I don't know. I just feel like the immigration thing is a good thing.
Oh, okay. Like mass deportation is a good thing?
Yes.
Okay. So mass deportation will reduce our GDP growth by 1.1 trill through 1.7 trill per year. And that's a good thing?
Why is it going to reduce the GDP?
Because undocumented immigrants are more likely to participate in the labor force than citizens, so 8.3 million of them work. And when you count for their overall direct contributions and overall productivity, you see that if we were to do mass deportation tomorrow, GDP growth goes down by the figures that I just gave. My more specific source would be the Center in American Progress.
Shouldn't we just try to get more Americans to work?
Okay, so you're saying if we deported and removed all 8.3 million of those undocumented workers, that Americans would fill those job opportunities?
I'm saying we could try to motivate them to work.
Yeah, we already have 8 million open job opportunities as is without the mass deportation, and Americans aren't filling those jobs. So why would we expect anything different for the 8.3 million job opportunities that would be opened up by mass deportation?
I mean, not everybody knows that many jobs are available.
Okay, just like not everybody would know if we were to do mass deportation. I don't really think that's an adequate response there.
What do you mean?
I thought I was clear with what I just said. You're saying not everybody knows that there's job opportunities. So, like, A, do your research. Okay, if you want a job, it's likely that you're probably going to look for open job opportunities in your area. But B, if not everybody knows about the 8 million job opportunities that already exist, then not everybody would know about the additional 8 million that would open
Yeah,
via
but
mass deportation.
do you want more immigrants to take away jobs from Americans?
Do I want more immigrants to take away jobs from
Do
Americans?
you want immigrants to take jobs from Americans? Like people that were already
Immigrants can be American.
I know. I didn't say they couldn't.
So then what question are you asking me?
I just think
No, what question are you asking? Do I want more undocumented immigrants to take jobs away from
it doesn't matter if
Americans?
they're documented or undocumented. Just like immigrants, do you agree with immigrants taking jobs away from Americans?
I don't have a preference one way or another. Like I just
So,
think that
wouldn't you
if
rather
you're gonna
have-
are you
wouldn't you
gonna
rather
allow me to
have-
finish answering your question? What the fuck are you doing? You're gonna no, yeah, calm down. Let me answer your question. I don't have a preference one way or another. Asking me if I care if there's an immigrant that's working a job compared to a natural U.S. born citizen working a job, I just don't care. Like I mean, that's like saying would I rather paint a rock blue or red? I just don't care.
That's not the same thing. No.
Why isn't it the same thing? Why should I have a preference one way or another?
Americans should come first when it comes to job opportunities in America.
Americans, okay, well, immigrants can be Americans.
All right, that's fine. That's fine. But undocumented ones are getting jobs. See, there are people in America right now, immigrants, undocumented ones, that have jobs and they don't speak English.
Okay.
And it's
Right. There is undocumented immigrants in America that work jobs and they don't speak English. And
but the job that they have requires them to like be able to they're supposed to be able to communicate with people and they don't even speak English.
so if there's a job that requires an individual to speak English, then anybody, including undocumented immigrants that don't speak English, aren't working the job.
No, they are working the job. That's what I'm saying.
Then it doesn't have a requirement for them to speak English.
But it should. Like if you go to like
Oh,
a
it
gas
should?
station-
Oh, it should?
Yeah. If you live in a country, would you go to Spain or a predominantly like Spanish speaking country, go live there and apply for a job there, and you didn't speak their language? Do you think that that's fine?
Actually, yeah, for sure. If there's like a location in Spain,
You don't speak their language.
I'm sure that there's like plenty of jobs in Spain where like individuals work and they don't have an ability to speak Spanish.
talking
Sure,
about, like,
yeah, that's fine. I don't.
talking about
Why would I
local
care?
jobs.
There's probably like a plethora of job opportunities in Spain where you don't need to speak
Say, like,
Spanish.
you work,
There's
like-
probably a plethora of job opportunities in France where you don't need to speak French. There's a plethora of job opportunities in Italy where you don't need to speak Italian.
makes any sense.
Yeah.
Why would you? I feel like one of the requirements before you come to a country, like planning on living there, like you should have to speak that country's language.
Oh, okay. Well, we don't have an official language.
Well, their predominant language,
Their predominant language. Okay, why?
because that's how you like assimilate to a society. Like you,
That's how you
why
assist.
would
Wait, that's not true. Wait, I wouldn't.
Yeah, you
wait,
do,
so
like,
wait, so you
that's
think
what
in
the
order
phrase-
to assimilate into American society, you have to have an ability to speak English?
I feel like you should.
Okay, so you're saying that that is a requirement for assimilation into society?
It shouldn't.
Okay,
I
well,
feel- yeah.
So I mean, so if you were to look at like the millions of immigrants that don't speak English, that live in American society, are productive, have friends, have a family, live in a community, provide to the country, provide to their local economy, pay taxes, and like further this country in a positive direction, you'd say that they aren't assimilated into the society?
They have to stick to their groups. That's how we're broken up as people.
They have to stick to their groups. What do you mean by that?
You just said they're in their own community. Like they can't branch out because they don't speak any other.
Wait, no, I said they also provide to their own community, like I provide to my own community, like you provide to your own local community. I'm talking about like your town, your city, or your county. I'm not talking about like some barrier to like greater like assimilation. I think that you're misinterpreting me as like somehow advocating for segregation. I don't know what you're saying. No, I just said that
I'm
they
not saying
contribute to their local
aggravating-
community just like anybody else into this country.
I'm saying it will make more sense if you spoke that country's language. Like I wouldn't go to Japan and not speak a word of Japanese and try to live there. You know what I mean?
There's so many people that will go to Japan
there's people,
and live
but
there without
there's
speaking
people, but that doesn't
Japanese.
make it right.
Wait,
That doesn't
what?
make it
Wait, what?
I feel like that's obnoxious.
There's so many people that do that. There's so
obnoxious,
many
man.
people that do that. I'm really confused on like what the argument is here. Okay, so let me ask you a question. Let me ask you a question. So, if 51% of people in this country spoke Spanish, would you be assimilated into American society?
That's not the case, but yeah, I would try to learn Spanish.
So if it was the case, you try.
My dad is actually an immigrant, but the difference between him, like the immigrant he is, and the immigrants that are now, is when my dad came to this country, he spoke 4 languages.
Oh, okay. I just don't really see any like good reason to say that it's like bad if they don't speak English. Like I mean, like, do you understand? Like, I think it does make sense because America isn't supposed to be isn't supposed to uphold a standard that everybody has to abide by in order to be considered a part of the society, a part of their community, or assimilated into the culture. You know, like the culture that like in the society of this country is built off of a melting pot of different cultures from around the world, of different customs from around the world, and different languages from around the world. That is like what the fabric of America means, okay? And I mean, you know, this is demonstrated by the domination of America on the global stage, okay, right? It has been this way since the country was formed, and I hope it will continue to be this way because the diversity that we see in this country, I believe, is integral to the success of this country. And the moment you say otherwise is the moment that you go from being America first to America last because you place your bigotry and your prejudice over the success of this country. You know, like for instance, undocumented immigrants, as I already pointed out, contribute anywhere from $1 to $2 trillion to the GDP per year, pay over $100 billion in taxes, or more likely to participate in the labor force than naturally U.S.-born citizens and are less likely to commit violent crimes. And you say, even though every single one of those things furthers this country and puts it first, and if we were to remove them all tomorrow, this country would suffer, poverty would go up, the economy would be weaker, we'd be farther up from the center of dominating in global markets, our producers would be less efficient, and crime would skyrocket and GDP would go down and our government would have less money to spend on social safety nets because we're no longer collecting taxes from individuals that aren't in the market anymore. You're once again, you're saying that you value your prejudice against non-English speakers, quote unquote, than the success of the country. It's also crazy I have to explain this to you.
I feel like if we just got them out of here, we can try to make Americans see that there are jobs and like advertise that there are jobs in America and make more Americans work. Like that's a problem to fix.
Right.
Like,
so I've already
not hard to fix.
Okay, yeah, it's not that hard to fix, but we have 8 million job opportunities today.
Yeah, but
got it. It's
you're not
not
gonna
that hard
change
of
that.
it. It's not that hard of a thing to fix, says the man.
I mean, people
with a very
like,
no. I'm
just tell
speaking.
people to work.
It's not that
That's
very
not
hard
that
to
hard
fix,
to fix.
says a man
That's not
with
really
a
that
very
much
with
fun.
shut up with a very low level of intelligence and seemingly no background in domestic or economic policy. But assuming that if we were to do mass deportation tomorrow, that the day after tomorrow there'd be an American that fills every single one of the job opportunities left via the mass deportation, our economy would. Okay, I'm trying to explain to you concepts of economics. Why are you interrupting me?
Jesus, dude, relax.
Why? I am relaxed. I'm asking you a simple question. Why are you interrupting me while I'm explaining to you why you're wrong? Do you not want me to explain to you why you're wrong?
I mean, go ahead. Yeah.
This isn't logical anymore. I appreciate you for the galaxy. So anyways, I've already explained to you why you're wrong. I've already explained to you why, no, it's not the case that we could justifiably assume that American would fill every single job opportunity created via mass deportation tomorrow because there's already 8 million job opportunities that aren't being filled. But assuming that they could be filled tomorrow, right, our economy would still be less productive and our GDP would still shrink. The economy would still be weaker and poverty would still increase. The reason why I say that is because although we'd be able to uphold the same productive capacities on the supply side of things, we'd still have a loss in over 12 million consumers. Okay, because we got to remember, it's not just our productive capacities that make our economy strong. It's also the consumers that buy the goods that those American productive capacities create. And you can't just replace the 12 million consumers that would be lost from a mass deportation, meaning that all things considered, our economy would still be weaker if every single one of those jobs could be filled.
So you're just saying we need more people to work?
No, I'm saying that if we did a mass deportation tomorrow and had an American fill every single job that undocumented immigrants are working today, our economy would still be weakened because we can't replace the 12 million consumers that buy those goods that we'd lose.
Why couldn't we replace those consumers?
Because we can't snap our fingers and spawn people in thin air that have money and want to spend it in the market. What do you mean? It's obvious.
So who are the consumers now?
Oh, no, thank you so much for the journal. Who are the people that consume from American producers now?
Us, right?
What do you mean by us?
Like, American people are consumers.
American people and the 12 million undocumented immigrants that live in this country that directly contribute $400 to $500 billion to the GDP per year based upon the goods that they buy and consume. Those are the consumers that we wouldn't be able to replace. So our economy would still be weaker.
Valid. But still, I just feel like you should at least try to learn English. That's my whole contention. Like, that's it. That's my only problem.
Right. So I prove you wrong. I show you that your view here will hurt America, and you still don't care. Stop calling yourself America first. Stop calling yourself a patriot. Stop LARPing and acting like you actually care about the success of this country. Just put it on a fucking on a billboard on your chest saying that I'm prejudiced and I'm a bigot and I want to make this country weaker if it means I can express my prejudice and my bigotry. And you know, my favorite thing about bigots. Now I'll tell you this. My favorite thing about bigots is knowing that you will forever live an unhappy life because you will never get what you want. Okay? You will never get a country where everybody in it speaks English or assimilates to what you deem as American culture. You will never get a country where everybody isn't Mexican or from Latin America. You will never get what you want, and you will forever be unhappy. And that is my favorite thing about bigots, knowing that you will forever be unhappy.
I'm pretty happy. I just don't like what's going on in the world right now. I speak a couple languages.
Nice, man. Well, was there anything else you want to go over?
No, that was it.
All right, we're going to move on to the next guest. Right. You know, so everybody, if you're curious why, when we're having conversations about immigration and mass deportation, I focus the economy, okay? And I do so for a very specific reason. The reason why I focus the economy when I'm having these discussions about immigration is because there's no better way to show that these bigots don't actually care, all right? There's no better way to show it, because the ultimatum that I end up reaching with some of the people that I have these discussions with is that they have to advocate for America to be weaker and for people to be worse off just so they could push their bigotry forward, okay? And that is why I decide to kind of take this line of argumentation when we're having these conversations about immigration. Now, what's going on, Sam? Welcome in. Do you support Trump?
Yo, what's good? I do.
How old are you?
I'm 22 right now.
Cool, man. Well, let's have a conversation. Before we do, I would like to thank Tammy for the $20 over on PayPal, saying thank you so much for your content. My parents are completely brainwashed. Dude, have them come up here. I appreciate you for the $20, Tammy. Let's get 200 Tammy W's down below. I'd also like to show some love to Megan for the $10 over on Venmo. Shout out to you, Megan. And then Elizabeth for the $20. Let's get 200 Elizabeth W's. Elizabeth says, you're amazing. Thank you so much, Elizabeth. You're phenomenal. Shout out to Tammy, Megan, and Elizabeth. Now, take it away, Sam. Tell us why you support the man, the myth, the failure, Donald J. Trump. In cheese. Thank you for the galaxy.
I just kind of like what he's doing. I mean, like, there's some things that I believe are not good, but the immigration thing, I really think, like,
honestly, we just spent like the last 30 minutes talking about immigration. Is there anything else that you'd like to go over?
It'll be quick. Like, if you're immigrant and you're working and you're doing good, I think it's fine. I think you can stay 100%. But if you're just causing problems, like deporting guns, deporting drugs, all that stuff, and like doing all that, you gotta go. Like, because where I live, most our population is Mexican farmers that are immigrants, and we couldn't like there's no way we could provide for ourselves if we didn't have them. So it's kind of like
real quick. So, I mean, if you're just saying that we should only deport individuals with prior violent offenses, okay, I agree with you. All right, but let's see if you hold this standard true, because basically what you're saying is if you're doing a lot of bad things, you gotta go. My question for you is, why don't you hold that same standard for the president?
ooh, that's a good one. I don't know. I just
34
kind of
count
like
felon, adjudicated rapist, might be starting war in the Middle East, been violating the constitutional rights of the people that he's been deporting, like Abrigo Garcia. All right. Like, these are all very bad, violent things. He's admitted to perving on naked teenage girls in their dressing room. Same thing with adult women. I mean, he's doing a lot of bad things. If we're going to listen to you, all right, and we're going to hold your standard to be true, well, if immigrants are doing bad things, they got to go. If the president's doing bad things, they got to go. So let's get Trump out of office. We should impeach him for all the bad things he's done.
Would you prefer J.D. Vance to be in office, or like because of those things?
Would I prefer J.D. Vance over Trump? Yes. But would I prefer J.D. Vance over like 90% of other candidates? No.
Yeah, at like the long run, I was going for RFK, and then Trump just kind of like he endorsed Trump. But the whole Trump thing, that whole scandal really was messed up, and it really made me think like, man, I don't know here. This is kind of a tough one. But Trump just like, he's honest. Like I gotta be real with you, he's honest. The JFK files, he was honest about that. He put those out. That's what really got me.
Was he honest about the Epstein files?
Oh, that's a good one. I don't think he was.
Right. And you know that he told over 30,000 confirmed lies during his first 4 years. And he told the largest lie that any sitting president has ever told when he denied the outcome of the 2020 election, and has still denied it until this day. So he's actually not an honest person. He's one of the most dishonest con men we've seen in the Oval Office in a very long time. And we've had a lot of those. He just so happens to be worse than any other one I can name.
Yeah. But, I mean, I don't think Kamala would be better. I would want, like, somebody else. I don't like either, to be honest. Trump's just more my style,
Okay, here, let me ask you a question. What the fuck is the right's obsession with pointing out Kamala Harris as some terrible, terrible, terrible candidate that was just significantly worse than the adjudicated rapist felon that tried to overthrow the results of a presidential election? Like, honestly, I thought Kamala Harris was pretty good. Like why did you think she was worse than Trump? Like, I feel like that's a particularly hard thing to do. And I don't think that she does it. So why do you think that she does it?
The experience. I mean, Trump was president before.
Okay, well, first and foremost, she did more with her 4 years as vice president than Trump did with his 4 years as president. Second of all, well, when Donald Trump ran for president the first time, his lack of experience in institutional politics was a pro, but I guess now it was a con for Kamala Harris, and a con that made her significantly worse than the rapist. And then third of all, she just literally has more experience in public offices. She served in the executive branch as VP. She served in the judicial branch as an attorney, the DA of San Francisco, the AJ of the state of California, and then she served in the congressional branch or the legislative branch as a senator of the state of California. So, yeah, man, I don't think that makes her worse than a rapist. B, she did more with her 4 years as VP. C, apparently the lack of experience of Trump in 2016 was a good thing. And then D, it's actually the case that she has more experience.
Yeah, I understand that. I mean, it's complicated, like, especially with the immigrants burning the flags. Like, that's way too far, in my opinion.
Hey, man, we're changing the topic here, because remember the question that I asked you is, what has Kamala Harris done that makes her worse than the rapist?
I mean, it's just like, Trump did so good his first term, and you can't lie about that. It shows on paper, like, everything
That's not
that
true.
he did so good.
I don't believe that.
You don't think?
No.
You might not believe that, but it's the truth.
Okay, what's one good thing he did? Tell me.
0 wars. I mean, we were the most peaceful we've been in a while.
And what did he do to cause that? Anything specific?
I couldn't tell you, but
Zero war.
I
Also, the
mean,
claim that there's zero wars just isn't true. I mean, we had an ongoing war in Afghanistan. We had a
yeah, but that war's
432% drone
been
strike in
happening
Middle
for
East.
so many.
In the Middle East, we had a proxy war with Russia and Syria. We had the Turkish-Kurdish war caused by our pullout from Kurdistan, leaving 60,000 Kurds to die and starve. Your claims are not true. So obviously, and then not to mention, like we could even like demonstrate how some of the things that Donald Trump did in his first term led to global conflicts that we see now, right? Like first of all, he left Palestine out of the Abraham peace accords, and that was one of the largest motivating factors that led to higher tensions that caused October 7th, and then the onslaught of the ethnic cleansing of the Palestinian people that followed. And that was because he left them out of the Abraham peace accords. And then not to mention that he definitely wasn't a peaceful president. I mean, he literally denied the peaceful transition of power and when his term was over, when he tried to rig and steal the election from Biden and then admitted to it in court. So keep that in mind, right?
I mean, don't you think he's a little cool though? He's a pretty cool president. You gotta look at it like that. I mean, he stands on business, like actually, he doesn't.
Yes. We need him to tread on us. We need him to tread on us. We need him to threaten to, exterminate the Constitution, start war in the Middle East, and reduce the after-tax income for 80% of Americans because of how cool he is. You should get this flag and hang it up in your room. It'd look good. At the end of the day, really just want Daddy to tread on you because he's really cool. I don't really care that he's reducing the after-tax income for 80% of us. He's rad. War in the Middle East, who gives a shit? He's super sick, dude. Oh yeah,
Daddy on
terrorist
top. What can I
distancing
say? Anyways, last thing I gotta say is deport every immigrant besides them Latinas, man. They can throw it back any day. God damn.
Okay, we're gonna go and move on to somebody with brain. So Jesus Christ, we're gonna go and move on to somebody with a brain at this point in the conversation, y'all. So give us a minute while we get somebody with a brain up here. If you were watching and you're Maga and you'd like to come up and debate, let me know down below in that chat. I'll get you pulled up while we are. Chris, thank you so much for the $20 over on PayPal, saying, "Hey, Dean, I had an argument about immigration with my uncle. I brought up them not being eligible for programs." And I'll read the rest of your message later, Chris. It's not popping up in the notification. But guys, let's get 200 Chris W's. Let's get 200 Chris W's. As well as make sure to show some love to Joel for the $10 down below on Venmo. Thank you so much for the love, Joel. You are phenomenal. Now let's go to get that next guest up in the box. Everybody just do be patient while we get that next guest loaded in, everybody. We got Garrett on the line loading in right now as we speak. All right, everyone, just give it a minute while we get them loaded in. And yo, Veteran, it's been a minute. I hope that you're doing well. Veteran, thank you for the $50 super chat on YouTube. Thank you so much. Let's get 500 Veteran W's down below for the kindness. You were awesome. I really hope that you're doing well. Huge shout out to Veteran. And what is going on, Garrett? Do you support Trump?
Hi, I didn't actually mean to join this. I do not support him.
No worries, bro. No worries. We'll just go ahead and move on here. No worries at all. Let's get that next guest up here. Veteran says, so many callers were too young to remember Taco 1.0 and were ill-equipped to debate you with substance. They vote based upon the hatred spewed from their MAGA parents at the dinner table. Veteran, I don't think you've ever been wrong in your life. I got to tell you, man. I've never seen this guy like miss. Let me tell you. Let's go and get that next guest up in here. We got Brett Thompson loading in, everybody. Just looking for that next Trump supporter to bring up on the live to have a conversation with. What's going on, Brett? You MAGA?
How are you? Yeah.
Okay, how old are you?
41.
Okay, and why, sir, do you support shit president, fascist Donald J. Trump?
Before we get into that, I just want to tell you where I live, Canyon City.
Okay. All right.
Well, do you know where that is? I'm close to where you say you are.
Canyon City? No, I don't know where Canyon City is.
Oh, okay. Right on. Never mind. But
wait, I'm so sorry, man. Are you driving?
No, I'm in my car.
Okay. All right, well, take it away. Brett, tell us why you support Trump.
Well, big Team Trump until I met you. I appreciate what you do.
So you're no longer
MAGA?
MAGA?
Awesome. No, I was big time MAGA until I got your channel and realized things.
Dude.
No
Brett,
shit.
That's awesome, bro.
I appreciate you.
I appreciate you, man. That's awesome. I appreciate you for waking up. Now you don't need to worry about your grandparents in 50 years asking you why you were on the wrong side of history. We all appreciate you for, seeing
Every time I look at him, it's it's grossness every time I look at him.
As it should be, Brett. I'm gonna go to move on. Try to find another Trump supporter.
That's fine.
But,
Thank
Brett,
you for taking me, though.
Of course,
I
bro.
appreciate it.
You're the man. We all seriously appreciate you. We love hearing that. We love hearing that, Brett. We love hearing that. We love hearing that. Shout out to Brett. Shout out to Brett, bro. We love that so much. What's going on, Bobby? You support Trump?
Yes.
Oh, Bobby. No, dude. How old are you?
I'm 18.
What year were you born in? Okay, all right. That was a child. That was a child. Yo, Mark, thank you so much for the $18 over on PayPal. Saying, Dean, I wish you could find a good debate today. You know what, sir? Me too. I also hope that we could find a good debate today. We're really going to try. Guys, show some love to Mark down below in that comment section for the $18. Thank you. Thank you. And now we're going to move on to the next guest, everybody. Let's try to get that next Trump supporter up on the line, y'all. And seriously, show some love to Mark down below for the $18. That is incredibly, incredibly kind. If you're watching and you're like, hey, this Dean guy's cool, I'd like to support him in what he does, you can find my Venmo, my PayPal, and the link tree in my bio. I get 100% of the proceeds over on those platforms. They go straight to me, and you'll get a shout out. But let's go to get that next guest up in the box right now. Keep in mind, we're only looking to talk to Trump supporters that are from America and at least 18 years old. What's up, Maga? And what's going on, Flower? Do you guys support Trump?
Hey, Dean, my dad does. You're going to debate him.
Oh, for sure. That's fine. What about you, Flower?
Bro, please.
All right. Maga's father. Go ahead and throw him on here.
Please, actually. Please. I'm going to be on that radio. Oh, okay. Sorry, Dean. He ran.
Yo, that's some crazy work calling your own dad a runner. We're gonna move on to the next guest here, everybody. Just give us a minute to get that next guest loaded up into the box. We're gonna try to get it going ASAP, everybody. Here we are. Phenomenal. What can I say? This is great. Okay. All right, we got that next guest loading in as we talk, everybody. What is going on, Julius? Do you support Trump?
No.
All right, see you, Julius. Please follow the rules, guys. Please follow the rules. The rules, once again, are if you're in that queue and you want to come up and have a discussion, you got to be from America, at least 18, and support Trump. What's up, Adam? You support Trump? You got an echo. Got to kick it out. What about you, Langrid? Do you support Trump?
Not really, but I just want to say you.
I appreciate that, man. But God, please follow the rules. Please do follow the rules. I would really appreciate you if you could do that. What's up, Live, Laugh, Love? You support Trump?
Yo, what's up, bro?
What's going on, man? You support Trump?
Yeah, well,
okay.
Sort of.
Do you have like any like Bluetooth devices connected here?
No.
Oh, I remember you. We talked the other day. We're gonna try to get that next guest, Brent, up in here, y'all. What's going on? Do you support Trump?
Penis.
It is literally a 10-year-old saying the P word. Oh no. Okay, that's crazy. We're going to move on to the next guest, everyone. Just give us a minute. Let's try to get that next guest loaded into the box, everybody. Proving a little bit hard to find some debates. Yeah, proving a little bit difficult. What can I say? What's going on? You support Trump?
Yes, I do.
How old are you?
I'm 18.
All right. And what year were you born in?
2007.
Did you know that because you are a Trump supporter, you should change your name because you don't have common sense?
All right. What year were you born in? 2007.
Yo, Trump Troll, you got an echo. Swipe in and out of the app, man. And stop a screen recording if you got it going. And Blink, thank you for the $20 super chat on YouTube, saying Trump supporters refusing to acknowledge he's a terrible person is beyond me. It's beyond me too. I appreciate you for the $20, Blink. Now take it away, common sense. Tell us why you don't have common sense.
I think I have common sense when it comes to some things. Maybe not everything.
Oh, did I say tell us why you don't have common sense? I meant to say tell us why you support Trump.
Oh, well, I support Trump because I just agree with him more than any other candidate this year.
All right. Like, what has he done that you're like, hey, man, that's awesome. What is he doing? What has he done?
I do think that his last term was more successful than Joe Biden's and what Kamala Harris's would have been.
Oh, really? Like, can we play a game to test that theory real quick there, bud?
Yes, sure.
This will be fun. Oh, I'd love to test this theory. So the game is very simple. You name one thing that Donald Trump did in his first term, like a policy or an EO that you thought was great, and then I'll do the same for the Biden-Harris administration. And whoever runs out first loses. Is that a fair game?
All right, but can I ask you one question before we start?
No, of course.
All right. So in America, do you think that the government should have to pay compensation to African Americans for, I don't know if I could say one word, but for slavery?
Okay. So I think that there's actually a lot of circumstances.
Yes or no?
I think that there's a lot of circumstances where reparations make total fucking sense. And that's actually quite a difficult argument to refute. But we're completely detoured because you said that you supported a lot of things that he did.
Go ahead and just send me some money over, all right?
So you said that you supported a lot of things that he did in his first administration, and then I said that we could play a game. And the reparations would be a little bit more complex than that. It's not just one private citizen sending money to another private citizen. The reparations would be aimed to like reduce the impact of systemic issues that persist in America today. But that's a whole other conversation because I want to talk about the first thing you said. So let's start the game. Tell us one thing that Donald Trump did in his first administration that you were a fan of.
Can you repeat that?
Let's play the game. Tell us one thing that Trump did in his first admin that you're a fan of.
I can answer that. Hold up.
Great. Goodbye. Hello, Trump troll.
What's good, my ninja?
What is your race?
Puerto Rican.
Right. Goodbye. Moving on to the next guest. Here we go, y'all. We're gonna go to get that next guest up in the box. Everyone, just give us a minute. We got Kay loading up into the stream. Here we go, everybody. We got Kay loading up into the stream right now. So everyone, just give us a minute to get this next guest connected. And then also, let's see here. Miko, thank you for the $35 over on PayPal. Thank you for the love, Miko. Miko says, love watching your debates. Keep it going.
Fuck Trump.
Oh, baseman. But also, guys, show some love to Miko down below in the chat for the $35 donation. That is seriously so incredibly kind of you. I hope that you're doing well, Miko. I know that you're tuning in here like every day. And yes, Slava Ukraine. Slava Ukraine, Miko. Huge shout out to Miko down below in that chat for the 35. What's going on, W2S? You support Trump?
In most areas, yeah.
How old are you?
I'm 19.
Nick, thank you for the Galaxy Suite. Erica, thank you for the $20 over on Venmo. No message, just the $20. Show some love to Miko and Erica down below in that chat, y'all. And take it away. Tell us why you support the worst president of your life, the man, the myth, the failure, Donald Trump.
So I wouldn't say he's the worst, by any means. There was definitely worse things going on in the last 4 years than so far in his term.
Really? What? What did Biden and Harris do that was worse?
I mean, there's so many to list. It's just
name one. Name one thing they did that was worse.
Listen, that's not. If you read, I was commenting in your stream. That's not what I wanted to come in here and talk about. Really?
Didn't see your comments.
But
before we move on, you gotta name one.
Well, can I ask you a question first?
That's what the last guest said. And then the last guest's question wanted to start like a whole new convo.
I wanted to ask your opinion on the situation going on in Iran and if you think Trump is handling it accordingly.
No, I don't think that telling them that we are directly involved in the war already as we already control their airspace and saying that we could kill their leader is smart. And then I also don't think considering bombing locations in the country is smart. I think that, the new gens may not know this because, we weren't around when Bush was president, but war in the Middle East is a waste of American lives, American resources, and destabilizes countries in the region, killing their citizens and allowing authoritarian regimes to gain power to further oppress their citizens. So, no, I don't support it at all. But let's go back to the first thing you said, because I answered your question, and I did so in good faith. What is one thing that the Biden-Harris administration did in the last 4 years that's worse than what we've seen now?
I mean, obviously, you're going to have everybody say gas prices were up an astronomical amount.
Okay. All right. Well, if you listen to the question I asked you for one thing they did. So how did they increase the price of gas?
That was, in fact, his fault.
Okay, how?
So,
what did they do? Tasha, thank you for the glowing jellyfish.
He did cut our oil intake, our imports. So, I mean, and then...
Wait, are you saying that he cut our oil production?
Yeah.
How much are you willing to bet?
I mean, I don't know the exact numbers, but you can also go off inflation. The inflation was...
the stage. How much are you willing to bet? Okay, let's put some money behind your claim there that he cut our oil production. How much money?
Okay, not our production. I'm saying through like the global factors, he played a major role in getting us involved in the Russia-Ukraine war, which obviously impacted the gas prices in America because we were getting oil and gas from Russia.
Our
It is-
involvement in that didn't like change the fact that we'd sanctioned Russian oil. Like regardless if we were
Yes,
giving humanitarian aid to Ukraine or not, we were still sanctioning Russian oil. And I think that's something that we should have done. And like even Trump agrees, we're still sanctioning Russian oil.
Okay, well,
do you disagree with that?
I do, yes. Well, I don't
Awesome.
disagree.
Thank you for the galaxy. Let me ask you a question. So imagine that you're alive during World War II. Nazi Germany is producing a lot of cars. Should we sanction Nazi Germany cars?
I mean, no, definitely not.
So we shouldn't try to like
but we shouldn't
destabilize.
have
No, I'm talking, you're listening. So we shouldn't attempt to like destabilize the economy of states that are like committing genocides or ethnic cleansing. So like I just want to clarify what you're telling us is something that we shouldn't do. You're saying that we shouldn't sanction states committing genocides or committing ethnic cleansings. But you understand when we don't sanction them and we buy their resources, we are only further emboldening them to kill more people. So like, are you just like so pro-capitalist that as long as your gas is like 20 cents cheaper, you don't care if that means that more people are going to be systemically slaughtered or ethnically cleansed?
Okay. That is a whole nother level of genocide that was going on. No, I don't side with Nazi Germany, and I wouldn't take stuff from them during World War II. But I'm saying our involvement that was unnecessary in that conflict in Russia and Ukraine did play a major role in increasing gas prices.
No, it didn't. Absolutely not. The only thing that played a major role was our sanctions on Russian oil. Okay, but our humanitarian support for Ukraine was not related to the fact that we were sanctioning Russian oil. Okay, so you're trying to associate these two things and act as if they're like integrally involved with one another, but that's not true. Okay, and my evidence that this isn't true is that today under Trump, we're not giving Ukraine humanitarian support, but we're still sanctioning Russian oil. So it is not the money or the support that we gave to Ukraine that increased the pricing of gases in America. It was the sanctions that we placed on Russian oil that increased the prices of gas in America.
Okay. I can name other things besides gas. I don't want to just talk about that.
Well, I mean, I just want to clarify, do you support those sanctions?
I mean, no.
Okay, so you support not sanctioning their oil, continuing to buy it from them, strengthening their economy, further emboldening their ethnic cleansing against Ukraine, allowing the USSR to rebuild so then they could turn around and invade other states and steal their land too.
Okay, that's not...
So not only is it a humanitarian disaster because you're further emboldening ethnic cleansing, but it's also an issue of national security. And that's why we see people in the GOP that don't really care about what's happening to Ukraine still support sanctioning Russian oil, because we don't want to allow the Russian Federation to be stronger, because that also poses a threat to America.
Okay, the ethnic cleanse, it's hard to debate when you're going to these extremes. You can really dumb this whole conflict down, Russia and Ukraine, by saying Russia believes this is part of their country and Ukraine believes it is their part of their country, so they are naturally going to fight over it. Okay, I don't think.
So you said it's not ethnic cleansing?
Ethnically cleansed. I don't think. No, it's not.
Okay.
It's not to that extreme.
Okay, all right. So then, what's the definition of ethnic cleansing?
I mean, it's pretty self-explanatory.
Okay, so what is it?
When you force your opinions and, I guess, culture on other people genocide, it can be a part of it.
So are you going to give me a definition or not? If you can't give me a definition, just tell me and I'll give you a definition.
I mean, what do you, I mean, you can try to explain. I know what it means.
Okay, here you type it on Google right now. So yeah, look up the definition of ethnic cleansing. You'll be provided the definition of ethnic cleansing from Oxford Language. Oxford Language, which is what you're going to find because I hear your type on your keyboard, defines ethnic cleansing as the forceful expulsion and or removal of an unwanted ethnic or religious group from society. Right? And that's exactly what the Russian Federation is doing to Ukrainians in Ukraine right now. And we honestly don't even need to know much to determine that. Like, for instance, one fact is that today there's close to 300,000 Ukrainian refugees in America that are only in America as refugees because they were pushed out of their land by the Russian troops. That alone fulfills the definition of ethnic cleansing.
Okay, but we got to this point. This is not what I didn't want to come on here and ask you about, like gas prices and foreign policy and the negatives I thought about Biden, I wanted to ask your support
Okay,
on
so you're gonna make a claim. You're gonna be proven wrong, and then you just don't want to talk about it.
I will. I'll gladly talk about it, but
So it is ethnic cleansing, right?
I asked to go on here for a specific thing.
So I just want to clarify now that you do consider it to be ethnic cleansing, given the information I just gave you, right?
I mean, from your point of view, I guess you could consider it that, but I don't think so.
Okay.
I don't think so.
Okay. So I gave you the definition of ethnic cleansing, and I gave you one minimal fact to demonstrate that they fulfilled it. Why do you disagree?
Okay. Because I believe, like I told you, you're making it more extreme than it is over there. It's not ethnic cleansing. Okay. It is the belief that Russia thinks this area of Ukraine belongs to them, and Ukraine thinks it belongs to them.
Sir, do you know how to debate? Because you're not debating me. I just want to clarify that for you and for everybody listening. You're not debating me. You're just telling me that I'm wrong. Like no. If you're gonna reject what I'm saying, you have to give me a reason why. You can't just say nuh-uh. Okay. So once again, I'm gonna give you in like 3 sentences or less why it's ethnic cleansing, and I want to tell you. And then I'm going to ask you, what did I say that was incorrect? Okay, because what I'm about to tell you, it's going to be logically valid. So that means if the premises that I give you are true, then the conclusion is also true. All right, and then I need you to tell me where I went wrong. Okay, but if you can't tell me where I went wrong, then you have no reason to reject that Russia's ethnically cleansing Ukraine. So let's do this together. Okay.
Go ahead.
Point number 1. The definition of ethnic cleansing is the forceful expulsion or removal of an unwanted ethnic or religious group from society. Do you accept or reject this?
I accept this.
Okay. All right. Point number 2, there's 300,000 Ukrainian refugees in America today. Do you accept this or reject this?
Accept this.
Point number 3, the reason why there's 300,000 Ukrainian refugees in America today is because Russian troops under the command and control of the Russian Federation have forcefully expelled them from their land, either by destroying their houses, forcing them out of the land by killing their family members, or due to the threat that if they were to stay on their land, they would be claimed as prisoners of war or killed as well.
All right. Can I say something?
Do you accept that?
Accept that, okay? Listen.
Okay, but listen, no, because you just accepted the definition of ethnic cleansing, then you accepted that that's what the Russian troops have done to Ukrainians. Okay, what the logical conclusion in here is that the Russian troops have ethnically cleansed the Ukrainians under the control and command of the Russian Federation. So you accepted everything that got us up to that conclusion. Thereby, you're also obligated to accept the conclusion.
You do understand they can go back after this conflict is resolved.
Just like Polish individuals could have gone back to Poland once Hitler lost his power.
They're not permanently displaced from their homes.
Permanent displacement, or like a temporal reality, is not is not necessarily intertwined in the definition of ethnic cleansing. After Hitler lost power over Nazi Germany, Jewish individuals moved back into Germany, Polish individuals moved back into Poland. So does this mean that Hitler did not ethnically cleanse the Polish individuals or genocide Jewish individuals?
No, because the Nazi regime was defeated.
Right.
It doesn't matter.
Right. So
it doesn't matter who wins this war. They will be able to go back.
According
no
to
matter what. What?
According to who?
According to everyone. Like, what do you mean? They're not being killed off. They can go back.
Okay, you accepted the definition of ethnic cleansing wasn't just necessarily the killing of an ethnic group.
Wouldn't it be ethnic cleansing on both sides?
So I just want to clarify here that in the definition of ethnic cleansing that I gave you, did I suggest any permanent displacement?
Yes.
Okay.
Forcible displacement.
Wait, I said forcible displacement. I didn't say forcible displacement forever.
Okay, well that's what you're making it sound.
What? No, because I literally just didn't say that. Like, all right, I don't think that we have any reason to believe that Putin would allow the Ukrainian refugees to go back to Ukraine, or he wouldn't be forcing them out of their homes today. Like, B, it also just isn't required that it's permanent.
Would you not say that you could view it as ethnic cleansing from both sides? If you're going to say it is ethnic cleansing from one side, if Ukraine goes into an area that Russian citizens are in and displace them.
The reason you can't say that it's ethnic cleansing from both sides is because Ukraine is the victim that's defending their land, not the aggressor that's trying to take land from Russia, pushing out their civilians to claim it as their own.
What? Can you repeat that?
The reason it's not ethnic cleansing on both sides is because Ukraine is the victim of the onslaught of the aggressor of Russia, defending their own land, not the aggressor that wants to take land from Russia, claim it as their own, and pushing out their civilians. Like we also like even understand that this was like true of when Russian insurgents in Crimea, right, tried to claim a region of Ukraine in 2014 as their own, the Crimea region. The response of Ukraine wasn't to go into that region and push out all of the Russians.
Okay.
The response of Ukraine was to peacefully defend their federal buildings for some time, and then just still consider the region a part of their country. You have no clue what you're talking about.
No, I do, and I think where we're getting where we're like disagreeing on this is, I don't really think Russia is coming in and saying, "Get the hell out of your house, go somewhere else." It's just people are trying to get away from a war that has been caused. It's not necessarily...
What the hell? Why are Russian troops in Ukraine in the first place?
Because they believe that's their land.
So they're taking their land from who?
It's the same thing.
Who are they taking the land from? Who are they taking the land from?
They don't believe they're taking
Who are they taking the land from?
In their point of view, they don't believe they're taking it, but technically Ukraine. From your point of view, yes, Ukraine.
Okay, and what constitutes Ukraine?
Constitutes? What do you mean?
The Ukrainian government and the Ukrainian people. I mean,
Okay.
it takes maybe 2 brain cells to understand that Russia is ethnically cleansing Ukraine, right? Only 2 brain cells. I mean, seriously, right? Like, you have to have a sub 45 IQ in order to be this much of a sympathizer to Putin, right? Now, once again, I gave you the argument to demonstrate that Russia was ethnically cleansing Ukraine. I gave you 3 premises and the conclusion that they logically entailed. So either accept that it's ethnic cleansing or reject that it's ethnic cleansing and provide your reason by telling me which premise I granted that you reject, that you think is false.
I did just tell you, like 30 seconds ago, it is not forcible displacement because they are only fleeing conflict. They are not being kicked out.
Yeah, wait, whoa. They're having their houses destroyed. People are dying. Like, you understand that, right?
Fleeing
places where Ukrainians live, like, they're dying. If they stay there, they're being slaughtered by the Russian troops. If they stay there, they're living in the rubble that was created by the Russian bombs, the tanks, and the fighting individuals. If they stay there, right, they don't have any water, they don't have any food. They're being starved. They're being that is forcible removal, right? Like, I don't think that you really understand. Like, let me ask you a question, okay? Let's assume that you live on a ranch in the middle of nowhere, okay? You get your water from a well and you get your food from your garden. Now, if you didn't have water from the well or food from the garden, you'd starve. And if you didn't have a house over your head, you would go cold in the middle of winter and die, right? So if I were to go to your little house in the middle of nowhere, destroy your well so you had no water, and stomp on your garden so you had no food, and then knock your house down so you had no shelter, would you be forced to relocate? Unmute and answer my question.
Okay, sorry, you keep muting me.
So then answer my question, please.
I mean, yeah, in turn, yeah. Unless you're gonna find like.
Right, well, that's what's happened to the Ukrainians, right? That's why they're labeled as refugees in America. They're not just immigrants that wanted a vacation. They're refugees.
A refugee, someone fleeing conflict.
Because
I know the definition.
they've had their access to water cut off, had their access to food cut off, and had their houses destroyed. They don't have shelter. Okay, right? That's forceful expulsion. Why are you such a Russian simp, you spineless POS?
I'm not.
Yes, you are.
I'm just looking at both sides.
You're like now. Yeah, now go ahead and respond to what I said about how it actually does constitute forceful removal, Mr. Putin's puppet. I wonder how much the Kremlin is paying.
I'm not Putin's puppet.
Yeah. Honestly, the moment you start to deny the systemic expulsion of individuals,
what did you say?
I'm just gonna look at you like I wonder how much the Kremlin is paying you.
Okay. We all know you're getting paid too.
Paid by who?
We all know. We all seen the evidence.
What
But I'm not here
evidence?
to talk about that.
No, now I
We've all
am,
seen the
because I want to
evidence.
show to everybody watching that you're
We've all seen-
that you're a delusional idiot that lives in a
Okay.
fairy
Okay.
tale world that doesn't use evidence to justify what you believe in. You don't build your beliefs off of reality. You build reality off of your beliefs, right? So for the same reasons that you're accusing me of being a paid puppet of some propaganda enterprise that you have no evidence for, that you can't demonstrate any evidence for it to be the case, like that's the same line of thinking that has led you to just willfully deny the ethnic cleansing of the Ukrainian people, even though I've been able to define the term and demonstrate how Russia's, invasion of the country would fulfill all criteria, right? You just don't care about what's true or false, right? So even though you can't contest that everything I've said so far is true, you just don't care because, like, when you build your beliefs, you're just literally not operating off of a standard of like trying to align yourself with what's true or false. Like, seriously, I'm being dead ass, right? Some people want to be rational, want to be intelligent, want to be coherent in alignment with reality. So thereby they try to build their beliefs based upon what is true in the world around them. But that's not what you do. You don't do that. You could recognize what is true in the world around you, just like you were able to concede what the definition of ethnic cleansing is, just like you were able to concede that that's what the Russian Federation is doing to the Ukrainian individuals. And just like you can recognize that this would logically imply the conclusion that thereby the Russian Federation is ethnically cleansing the Ukrainian individuals, but you don't care about that. Because at the end of the day, your ultimate standard for what you find to be the case or you don't find to be the case is not if it's true or false. So that's why you deny the ethnic cleansing of Ukrainian individuals, and that's why you think that I'm paid even though you don't have any evidence for it.
Unless the paychecks I saw were forged or fake or whatever.
Jim Gunn, I'll literally give you $10,000 if you could show me quote-unquote paychecks.
I've just seen videos online about them. I don't know if it's
then show me them right now.
Well, I don't know. What do you want me to? I mean, I didn't save the videos and stuff.
Oh,
But
so I mean, you should be able to like Google it, maybe. I don't know.
I'm sure if
Deirdre, thank you for the $10 over on PayPal, saying it's my birthday today. Happy birthday, Deirdre. As well as Ansgar, thank you so much for the $10 on PayPal, saying they are literally stealing Ukrainian children to try and force them to be Russian. Yeah. Putin says that he wants to eliminate the Ukrainian language and culture. Yeah. Thank you for the $10, Ansgar, and the $10, Deirdre. As well as Angela with the $20 over on PayPal, saying here's part of the fake paycheck. Yo, let's go! We're getting paid by the DNC today, as well as John with the $5 over on PayPal from the DNC. I'd also like to thank Gabby. Thank you so much for the $50 over on Venmo. I want to see 500 Gabby W's down below in that comment section right now. Gabby says, I've watched you for over a year, but in these times, you truly give me hope for humanity. Anyways, happy to see you, Dean. I'm happy to see you as well, Gabby. Thank you so much for being here. And thank you for the $50 donation on Venmo, as well as Scuba Steve with the $15 over on Venmo for saying, please take my Venmo balance as compensation for actually having to talk to this moron. Scuba Steve, you're a funny motherfucker. I appreciate you for that. Thank you so much.
Can I go ahead and say that you were talking about me supporting Putin?
Yeah, for sure.
He is mentally insane.
Okay, so why do you support somebody that you think is mentally insane?
I don't support him.
Yeah, you do.
No, I don't.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, the moment that you
No,
try
I
to
know
downplay
what
the
they are
ethnic
doing.
cleansing, the moment that you try to downplay the ethnic cleansing of Ukrainian individuals with no reason, even though you can't contest the argument that I granted you, you're totally a Putin puppet.
Okay, you do know how we got here, right? Was the oil?
All right, so you're not going to respond to what I have to say, right?
Okay, maybe you've changed my mind on ethnic cleansing.
Great. Now get the hell out of here. Get the hell out of here, man. We're gonna move on to the next guest. I get really pissed off talking about Ukraine. Man, you know, I've met a lot of Ukrainian individuals that have been forced to flee their towns in Ukraine, that have watched their family members die, that have seen their houses turned into rubble by Russian troops, and if they didn't escape, they'd be dead too right now, right? Like, I've talked to these individuals. I've met with these individuals. I mean, when I was down in Texas, there was a Ukrainian woman. She was around my age, 20 years old. She came up to me and she was like on the verge of tears, just because of how thankful she was, and the comfort that my lives gave to her. And I just when people oh man, it's very upsetting to me when I hear that shit. You know what I mean? What's going on, Sonner? Do you support Trump?
I guess I do support Trump.
Oh, Jesus. Why do you support Trump?
I mean, I guess it's not really a support Trump thing as much as it is. I believe he was the best candidate I was given a choice to vote for.
Okay. All right. So why do you support him? Why do you think he's the best candidate? Why do you think he's good at his job? Take it away.
Well, I mean, when his first 4 years when he was in office, I felt like financially I was better off. it was better, easier to prepare for or to provide for my family.
Okay. Okay. So what did he do to make it easier to provide for your family? Or what did the Democrats do to make it harder for you to provide for your family?
Well, and when to provide for the family, for me personally, it comes down to, I think they give more money to we give more money back to to underprivileged people, and that's going to sound bad when I say underprivileged, but the poverty level gets there. But when we give back into those programs so much money all the time, I feel like sometimes we're giving more, and it gives people an incentive to not work.
Okay, well, that's not true. And that's just empirically disproven. So the more social safety nets that a country has, the more economic mobility they have, which means the easier it is for somebody to work harder and make more money and scale up in like social classes and income. And that's just empirically true. I mean, like the measure would be to compare the economic mobility of a Nordic country to even the economic mobility of America. And what we see is that once again, because we have lower levels of social safety nets, there's less economic mobility, which makes it harder for people to go to work and make more money. So, I mean, that's a hypothesis that just simply doesn't align with the facts of reality.
Okay. Well, I can give you a couple of examples here. I have some people that work for me, and they're like, I want to give them a raise or give them a promotion. Like, I can't take that promotion. It has to be this amount because I'm going to lose my free daycare and my free other stuff. So it's like, I can't take that. You'll have to promote me 2 steps higher, but that's just not the way the ladder works. You can't go 2 steps higher. You can only go 1 at a time.
Okay. All right. So you're giving me an example of somebody that you know in your interpersonal life, one person out of over 300 million. And I'm giving you an example of like the totality of the economy in one country compared to the totality of the economy in another country. So although we would be able to identify some individuals that may take advantage of social safety nets, and they would serve to like hold them back from working harder to make more money for miscellaneous reasons, what we see when we go from examining like a group of 5 people to a group of like 400 million people is that's just simply not true on average. On average, social safety nets help people excel and make more money and scale income brackets. So yeah.
And then I know I heard you talking about the tariff stuff. And I'm not saying that tariffs are always a good thing, but China tariff stuff's at a rate at 32.6%.
It's actually not true. Right now it's 10, at least according to Trump. I mean, you could say Trump is lying if you want.
Trump's lying because that's not what the facts say. The facts say they tariff us at a rate of 32.6 and Canada is 25.
I think that it was 32.6 prior, but like I think now like their average level of tariff is like 15 or something. But like, okay, like, what is this? Why does this matter?
Well, I was just saying when we talk about those things, I think that's what the tariffs were meant to do, was like make China and Canada bring theirs down.
Okay. All right. He was able to get China to reduce their tariffs on us, but like the end result was also us increasing our tariffs on them indefinitely, and that's a bad thing because ultimately the American consumers pay those tariffs. So why is it like a win that like the American people are paying more money?
Well, it's not that they're going to pay more money; they're going to pay more money in the short term.
No, in the long term. This is the long-term deal. This is the long-term deal. It was announced yesterday, right? The long-term deal, the definite deal with the country for the long term is we charge China higher tariffs and they charge us lower tariffs.
I thought he said indefinitely, not permanently.
So that's the long-term deal. The long-term deal is Americans paying more.
It's indefinite. Once it comes down, I'm assuming.
We have no reason to believe that it will.
But if he'll lower those tariffs and then we can get it flatten it out, that'll help.
But we have no reason to believe that it will. Everything that he's ever done or said indicates the opposite. So that's a conspiracy theory. Like, what's the opposite between you basically believing that Donald Trump is inevitably going to lower tariffs on China when he's actually just shown a track record of increasing them and announcing a long-term deal with increased tariffs on the country? I mean, what's like the relevant distinction between that conspiracy theory that he's inevitably going to lower them and like the conspiracy theory that vaccines don't work or the earth is flat? Okay, like all the evidence disagrees with you and there's no evidence that agrees with you.
Well, the tariffs have only been in place for what, 6 months?
So actually, he announced his like first non-permanent tariffs, like the reciprocal quote unquote ones. But then he was able to achieve the long-term trade deal with China And the most recent update that we have is they have 10% tariffs on us and we have 55% tariffs on them. And that is the announced long-term like trade deal. Okay. What reason do we have to believe that we'll inevitably lower our tariffs on them?
Because my head says it has to.
You're right. So you don't have any. So you don't have any. So you're trying to debate me with feelings. I'm trying to debate you with facts. Who wins?
Well, we have already decided they came down 10%. That's going to help us be able to sell our goods and bring money into the economy because we're not paying 32.6% anymore. We're down to 10.
I care more about Americans paying less than I do about our exporters exporting more. I'm not going to lie.
But you don't think that would help bring money into the economy if they're able to export more and get more money into the economy because it's coming into the country?
No, there's like very marginal upsides to China reducing their average tariff on American goods by 10%. Yeah, that will slightly increase their tariffs, and that will bring a little bit more money into the American economy. All right. But I care more about Americans paying less because the impacts of our now 55% tariffs on the country being a regressive tax that disproportionately hurts Americans the less money they make also produces more inefficiencies because then Americans are going to be spending less because the goods cost more. So there's going to be more money lost via the opportunity cost, as well as just like the humanitarian impacts are drastic. So once again, I care about Americans paying more than I do about exporters exporting more.
But I think that's, and I'm not saying what you're saying isn't true. I still think that's going to be a short-term problem. Sometimes it gets worse before it gets better, but if we can get through that, we can create a few more jobs here, hopefully.
Right. We already agreed that you don't have evidence for this, so please stop trying to run an argument on me that you don't have any evidence for. Because we already agreed that you don't have any evidence of this, so stop it.
We didn't agree. You agreed.
But I asked you what the evidence was, and you weren't able to give me any. So you just think that you have evidence even though you can't articulate it?
What we're saying is that I think that it's going to be that way, but we don't have any evidence yet because it hasn't happened yet.
Oh, right. So then you agree that you don't have any evidence. So why are you trying to run an argument on me in a debate that doesn't have any evidence for it? Right, and then you just said that it's hypothesis. Well, we should only believe in hypotheses that track truth, okay? And if a hypothesis tracks truth, it has evidence, right? Like, you know what I mean?
Well, the tariffs going in have already made it to where the fact that China has lowered theirs, and you said yourself that there's a marginal gain there.
What I'm saying that you don't have evidence for is the fact that we're going to lower our tariffs on them, not that they're going to lower tariffs on us. Okay, like why is this taking I'm sorry, like what the fuck is going on? Like you admit that you don't have any evidence for it. You said that explicitly. Why are we still debating this? Why are we debating something that you don't have evidence for? This is brain rot.
Okay. We can
think about it.
We can go back to something you said earlier when you were talking about being pro-life and all that, and Trump's doing all those things. Trump wasn't even in office when the Roe v. Wade was reversed.
Yeah, you're right. He wasn't in office. That doesn't mean that he didn't cause it. Not to mention, he believes he caused it. He boasts it as one of his accomplishments. But the reason it was overturned was before he left office during his first administration, he was able to elect and nominate 3 conservative Supreme Court justices to SCOTUS, okay, before their official nominations by the Senate, their confirmations by the Senate. He said that he made these picks so they'd overturn Roe v. Wade. Once they were nominated and confirmed by the Senate, he then said, I can't wait for them to overturn Roe v. Wade. That's what they're going to do because I asked them. And then when they did overturn Roe v. Wade, he said that was because of me. This is one of my wins. I caused that. And this is one of my accomplishments.
And even at that, he didn't say abortion was illegal. He left it up to the states, which 14 states have banned it, only 14.
Right, just like the Confederacy wanted to not federally legalize slavery, they just wanted to leave it up to the states so it was no big deal, right? I don't think that human rights should be left up to the states. Okay, I also think that anybody with half a brain would understand and acknowledge that Donald Trump knew states would ban it, yet he still decided to incentivize his nominations to overturn it, meaning that he's also directly culpable and responsible alongside the legislators of the states for those abortion bans, right? Like, if I have a child and I know if I give them a pew-pew, they're going to turn it around and unalive themselves, and I do give them that pew-pew, okay, I'm going to be responsible for that, right? Because I knew they were going to do it. I could have prevented them from doing it by not giving them a pew-pew, but I still decided to give them than the pew pew nonetheless. Well, that's what Donald Trump did. He knew that these states would enact extreme abortion bans, so it would violate women and girls' human rights and bodily autonomy and access to American health care. And he could have stopped them from having the ability to do that by not nominating justices specifically to overturn a Roe v. Wade, but he did anyways, knowing it would lead to that outcome, so he's also responsible for it.
And he might be responsible for it, but what I'm saying is it's still up to the states.
Okay,
People that
yeah,
have,
so you're basically saying that he's responsible as well as the state legislators are responsible. I couldn't agree more.
but the state legislators are responsible, and those are the people that those people in those states voted for to put there to make that, to speak for them.
Oh, okay. So then also the people in the states that voted for the state legislators are responsible. I couldn't agree more. Yeah, we agree that Trump is responsible for this treacherous outcome. The state legislators are responsible for this treacherous outcome. And then the people that voted for these state legislators are responsible for this treacherous outcome. Seems like we
They're
agree.
responsible for the outcome. I didn't say it was treacherous. I believe the state should have more rights and it should be less federalized on a lot of things.
Should states have the rights to legislate on human rights? Or should states have the ability to legislate on human rights?
Yes, I think the state should.
So if everybody in Alabama wanted slavery back, you'd be okay with that?
I mean, if that's what they want to do, I guess. That would be up to them. I don't. I'm not.
Again? I know the woman for you. I know the woman for you. I know the woman for you, you piece of shit. But that's neither here nor there. Do you understand what you just fucking said? Do you even understand what you just said? You just said that if everybody wanted to treat black people like property, subhuman, violate their human rights, act as if women can't feel pain so we could rape them, you'd be completely fine with that. Do you hear what you're saying, you despicable, gross old man? You despicable, old gross shit.
That's not what I said.
That is what you said. You said if everybody in Alabama wanted this, then they could have it and you'd find no issue with it. I have a question. If everybody in this live wanted to sequester you to a cage for the rest of your life, would you be okay with that?
I would just move this from that state so that I didn't have to live under those rules.
Okay, so I just want to clarify, the way that you would have resolved conflicts between the Union and the Confederacy was advocating for the Confederacy to uphold and maintain the right to legislate and legalize the right for a white man to own a black man as property for life. And you would have just simply told the black enslaved individuals to try to escape to the North, right? That would have been your resolution. Right?
You went to the slavery
right, so
thing.
you would have been a Confederate, right? You would have been sitting right beside Robert E. Lee fighting for states' rights because you really think that it's just a great, phenomenal thing for people to have the power to make other people, legally speaking, not people. Yeah, I mean, you just think that's great, right? Once again, answer my question. If everybody in this live voted to sequester you to a cage for the rest of your life, would you be okay with that?
I guess they can sequester me wherever. I don't care about me.
You don't care about that? Okay, yeah, you're just a disingenuous.
I was not trying to say that I'm okay with anyone owning a slave because that's not okay.
So then why would you be okay with states legalizing it based upon majority support?
I'm not really okay with them doing that, but it wasn't as parallel as you made it sound where we're saying what I was talking about in slavery. They're two different things, in my opinion. I was not talking about owning a slavery.
That's a question that I asked you. I vocally asked you the question, if everybody in Alabama wanted slavery back, would you be okay with that? You said yes.
I said, and I hope they would not do that. But I don't think they should have slaves, and I wasn't trying to be that way.
Do you think that the state of Alabama should have the legal ability to legalize slavery?
No, I don't.
Okay, so then you do think that human rights should be protected by the federal government, right?
Yes.
Okay, if human rights should be protected by the federal government, would you agree that it is a human rights violation to infringe upon somebody's bodily autonomy without good enough reason? An example of this would be kidnapping.
No, yeah, you can't kidnap people. You can't let them.
So can we agree that it's a human rights violation to infringe upon somebody's bodily autonomy if we don't have any good reason to do it?
I can agree with that.
Okay.
But
I don't think that there's any good reason.
Exactly what abortion is.
I don't think that there's any good reason to infringe upon a woman's right to bodily autonomy as it relates to access to elective lethal abortions in the first 20 weeks of pregnancy, right? Thereby making it a human rights violation. And because we agree that human rights violations should be protected by the state, you would have to agree that a woman and girl's access to abortion should be protected by the federal government unless you can name good reason that women shouldn't be able to access abortion.
Well, women accessing abortion, they can still get it, and I'm not even against abortion.
Okay, if you're not against abortion, that means that you can't name good reason why it should be illegal, and because you can't name good reason that it should be illegal, then you'd agree that it's a human rights violation to make it illegal. Thereby, you'd say that no state should have the legal ability to make it illegal.
But I'm not. But just because that's my belief doesn't mean that that's not what shouldn't be voted on by other people.
It does. It actually, your belief would imply that it shouldn't be voted on by other people since it would be a human rights violation, and we agree that those should be protected by the federal government.
I mean, I get if you base it down that simply, yeah, but it's more complicated than that.
Okay, what am I missing that makes it more complicated, thereby making my point false?
I mean, just talking about abortion in general, I mean, I still have my own. I said I'm not against abortion, and I'm not. I don't care. You do your body whatever you want. But I do understand sometimes where a man gets, he might want the child and he doesn't get that opportunity because the woman doesn't want to. And I've always said there's like that's that gray area I get into where it's like I feel for the man.
Okay. All right. Yeah. If I'm married and me and my wife plan on having a child and she finally gets pregnant, we start talking about names, buying clothes, baby cribs, etc. Okay, then she gets an abortion and the man's sad. Okay, well, I'd be sad if I was in his shoes. But I don't think that the emotions of men should be able to control what women can or can't do with their bodies.
I said it's that gray area. I feel bad, but
I mean, I don't even think it's a gray area. I think that you could say that you'd feel for a man in those shoes without saying that it's a moral gray area. Right? It's not a gray area at all. On one hand, you feel for the man. On another hand, it's certainly the case that men's emotions shouldn't be able to control what women can or can't do with their bodies.
I said I didn't disagree with what you're saying there. I feel for the man in that situation. Or if it was the vice versa and men could have women, I'd feel for the women in that situation.
I agree. But I don't think that introduces any more gray area. I don't think that fact is morally relevant.
Okay.
Well, is there anything else that you want to go over?
No.
Cool. So we're going to move on to the next guest. Everyone give us a minute. We got Luke loading up into the box. Here we go, everybody. If you're in that queue, make sure that means that you support Donald J. Trump, y'all. We're going to get the next guest up here right now. 9 minutes ago, Avery, spelled A-V-A-R-Y, with a $20. Jesus Christ. Avery with a $20 over on PayPal. I appreciate you for that love. Avery says, I look forward to your lives every day, Dean. You always make my day better. I love you. Oh, I love you too, Avery. Thank you for the $20 donation. The very kind message. Let's see, 200 Avery W's down below in that box. 1 second, man. As well as R, thank you so much for the $15 over on PayPal, saying this man is making me crash out, Dean. There's no help. There's no helping this guy. Yeah, we got him off for that reason. I appreciate you for the $15 R. Show some love to Avery and R down below in that comment section. Thank you guys so very, very much. I'd also like to thank Condra for the $10 over on Venmo, saying sending my daily appreciation because you share your daily passion, inspiration, and knowledge. Love you. So much love to you, Dean. So much love to you as well, Condra. Thank you for the $10 and the incredibly kind message. Show some love to Condra, Avery, and R down below in that box while we start this next debate. What is going on, Caleb? How old are you?
I'm 18. September 16, 2006.
All right, sir. You're right. You would be 18. So, yeah, do you support the Dipey Don, the worst president of your life?
Worst president or the best president of my life?
The worst, for sure.
The best. You know, I actually came in here because I find it very funny on how that you can sit here and always be right. You are never wrong.
Base? I like you.
How come?
How come? How come I'm always right and never to rarely wrong? It's because I put a lot of research into what I believe, and I only believe in things that are true. I don't believe in things that are false. I don't divulge in conspiracy theories. And
So
I
you're
don't
telling
believe
me
in-
that
I
you
don't
go
divulge
on the
into baseless
internet and you
reasoning.
see something and you believe it. You are out of your mind.
No, that's actually the opposite of what I do. I'm not like you. I don't spend my days scrolling on Facebook, Truth Social, and Twitter, believing anything that I see on my screen just because some random account in the middle of fucking nowhere decided to pop open canva.com and type in that Kamala Harris went to a Diddy party. No, that's actually the opposite of what I do.
I just find it funny as fuck that you could sit here and always be right and you're never wrong.
How about you prove me
That's
wrong?
the funny thing about all you debaters. Y'all are never wrong. That's the funny thing.
How about you prove me wrong? We'll give you the chance.
Prove you wrong. There is no way. You always have some bullshit excuse on how you're right.
Dude, if you're admitting you can't prove me wrong, then you're conceding that I'm always right.
Well, it's because I don't sit on my ass all day in a chair and study about Joe fucking Biden, who's the worst person on this planet Earth. I mean, here, we'll start with this. You think it's okay to sit here and be able to kill a baby? Let's start here.
Duh! Are you kidding me?
Absolutely
Obviously.
fucking not.
Wait,
No,
whoa.
Wait.
Obviously.
Hold up. No. No. I don't know if you've ever whipped out the Holy Bible or anything, but God made everything in his image perfectly how he wanted it. So when the Bible says that, all these people, all these sick 14,000 people in here think it's okay to kill a baby that God made in his image.
How about
You're
this?
telling me that's okay?
Do you think that it should be illegal for a woman to get an abortion since it violates the 10 Commandments?
I don't care about that. You never answer my question. Here you go with your debating on how you're right. You can't answer my question,
Wait.
but you're going to get mad when I don't answer yours.
Is your question just if I think it's okay, even though the Bible says otherwise?
Well, I mean, do you even believe in Jesus and that stuff?
Of course, man. I'm a man of God.
Of course, if you're a man of God, why don't you read the Bible?
All right. Well, actually, I have read the Bible. I'm a
I
theologian.
will get the verse up right now. Hold up.
Now, listen to this, sir. Listen, from one man of Christ to another man of Christ, can I please tell you why any good believer of God should also believe that abortion should be legal?
Go ahead and tell me why.
All right. It's because we shouldn't intertwine the church with the state. The reason why we shouldn't do that, make that little silly mistake, is because it is logically incomprehensible to try to use a holy book to justify what should be legal and what should be legal. Because there are so many damn sins, and in Romans, we learn that they're all viewed identically the same in the eyes of God as they all fall short of the glory of God. This means if we want to make abortion illegal because it's a sin, we would also have to make lying and telling your children that Santa Claus exists illegal because it's a sin. But that's absurd, sir. We shouldn't do that. We shouldn't make that illegal. So what that means, because we need to be logical thinkers, we can't just cherry pick what in the Bible we want to criminalize and what we want to ignore, that we just have to use a completely separate and distinct secular standard to justify our criminal justice system, not merely the Christian Bible.
Well, you know, the Bible is the number one book in the world.
Amen, sir. Amen to that.
And the Bible clearly does say that God made everybody in his image and that abortion is not okay.
Well, I agree. Listen, sir. Well, I mean, it actually gets a little silly here.
I don't think the Bible, hold on. I don't think the Bible says anything about don't tell your kids that Santa Claus isn't real.
That's called a lie. It's called a lie, and that's explicitly against the 10 Commandments as detailed in Exodus 21.
One second.
The 10
I'm trying to find
Commandments.
this. I know the 10 Commandments.
Amen. Amen, sir. Amen. Now, it's also worth consideration here. You know, that when we read the Levitical law, right, the Mosaic laws detailed in the first 3 books of the Old Testament, first 4 books of the Old Testament, what we see is that seemingly fetuses are really only assured like property rights of the mother. They're not really looked at as persons. All right, and I could give you some evidence to believe this, right? Like, would God ever say that murder is okay?
Absolutely not.
All right, but then we see in Numbers 31 that apparently if your wife cheats on you with another man and gets pregnant, it's okay for her to abort that fetus. Therefore, killing that fetus ain't murder.
But also in Genesis 1, verse 26 to 31, it says, "And God said, let us make man in our image, after our likeness, and let them have dominion over the fish of the sea, and over the fowl of the air, and over the cattle, and over the earth, and over every creepy thing that creepeth upon the earth." Like, that clearly says,
Amen. Amen. But see, what we're saying
everyone in
here.
his image. But no, but what I'm
wait.
point
Oh,
that
sir,
I'm trying to get
you're
across-
an atheist. Listen, are you an atheist? The reason why I say this is because we agreed that the Bible, the Holy Text, would never say that that murder is okay. But then I was able to point to Numbers 31 where it says that abortion's okay. So therefore,
Well, let me
abortion ain't
pull up
murder. Now,
Numbers
allow me to finish here. Allow me to finish here. So now, because we know that abortion ain't murder, seemingly your response there, talking about Genesis 1, was trying to contradict that by saying that God created all men in His image. Are you saying that there's a contradiction in the Holy Text? Are you one of them devil-worshipping atheists trying to refute and disprove my holy book by saying it contradicts itself? Saying that in one area, everybody is made in the image of God and it's murder to kill any of us, but in another area, it says it's not murder to kill a fetus, even though it's made in the image of God, as insofar as it's a wife that cheated on their husband? You're from the devil, sir. I bet that George Soros, okay, and all the other baby blood drinking devil worshippers cut you a little paycheck to come up here to try to refute the holy book of my Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ.
Okay, well, then if that's the case, if you want to sit here and say that you believe in the holy word and it clearly says in here that you shall not have abortion or any of that, then why do you go sit here and try to argue with the holy word of God that it is okay to have abortion, that you agree with Joe Biden that you can have abortion, but oh wait, the holy word of God, your holy word of God, the Bible, the book that you love, and you're just going to turn that shit right down, right?
You, sir, are the one ignoring, okay, the fact that we agreed that the Bible would never say murders are okay, yet it says that abortion's okay in Numbers. Seriously, sir, answer this question about the Holy Text. We're going to do Bible study. Amen, amen. If the Bible would never say marriage is okay, yet it does say that abortion's okay in some circumstances, this means that abortion's not murder, right?
Abortion. Wait, say that again? Sorry.
If the Bible would never say murder's okay, but it does say that abortion's okay in some circumstances, this means that abortion's not murder, right?
Where does it say that murder is okay in the Bible?
Hey, man, sir, let's do our Bible study. Go ahead and give me a minute here so I could, pull up my scripture. Numbers.
Make sure you pull up the actual Bible, not some fuck shit that you be
Hey,
reading.
man, none of that fuck shit devil worshipping bullshit. All right, so this is coming off of Bible Gateway, BibleGateway.org. This is Numbers 5:11 through 31. Then the Lord said to Moses, "Speak to the Israelites and say to them, if a man's wife goes astray and is unfaithful to him, so that another man has sexual relations with her, and this is hidden from her husband, and her impurity is undetected, and if feelings of jealousy come over her husband, and he suspects his wife is, and she is impure, or if he is jealous and suspects her even though she is not impure, then he is to take his wife to the priest. He must also take an offering of 1/10 of an empath, or barely 4 flour on her behalf. He also must not pour olive oil on it or put incense on it, because it's a grain offering for jealousy, a reminder. As it's a grain offering for jealousy, a reminder. Shall bring her and have her stand before the Lord, and then he shall take some holy water in a clay jar and put some dust from the tabernacle floor into the water." What the hell? "After the priest has the woman stand before the Lord, he shall loosen her hair and place her hands in the reminder offering, the grain offering her jealousy."
What version are you on? Hold on. What version are you on? Because you ain't reading the same Bible I'm reading.
Dude, this shit's crazy. This lore is nuts. I feel like I'm reading like a fiction like medieval fairy tale book. Yeah, this is the NIV.
I'm reading the same passages you are, and I don't think we're adding up very well.
I wasn't done reading it yet. That's pretty. The Bible lore goes crazy sometimes. Like, what? They got to get water and pour olive oil and incest on it, and then connect some tabernacle dust off the floor. What the fuck? Anyways, basically, the summation of this verse then goes on to say, that the priest will have the woman drink water, or basically what they had in 5,000 years ago to induce labor prior to viability, which would kill the fetus. And this is coming from 522 says, "May this water that brings a curse into your body, so that your abdomen swells and your womb miscarries." So yeah.
Can you repeat that last part real quick? Because it was glitching.
Numbers
up a little bit on me.
522. May this water that brings a curse into your bodies, so that your abdomen swells or your womb miscarries. So they basically were able to find like particular like herbs or naturally existing like elements in nature that, if consumed by a woman, would induce a miscarriage, which was basically like an archaic way to do an abortion.
I still
Somebody in the
I don't
comments,
understand where it
somebody
says
in the
that.
comments. So Wordy Birdie 487 just said in the comment sections, "I goon to Dean, but no one will ever know since there's so many comments." That is Wordy Birdie 487, WERTYBERTY 487. I had to point that out, but go ahead.
I'm still not understanding where you're seeing that it's okay to have abortion.
I've told you
And
like a billion
there's-
times. Numbers 522.
You told me like a billion times and have not backed it up and cannot prove to me anything.
What? I read you the scripture. What the fuck are you? What the hell are you saying? What is this? What is this? What is this nut job rattling off about? I gave you the scripture. I read it to you
Nut
too.
job. I find it funny how you have 3.6 million followers. That just shows how many people in this world are actually broken.
Amen.
Yeah, all y'all Biden stupid ass people.
Yeah, Cook. Do you have anything of substance
Yeah,
to say? Or like, I don't know. Like we're having a debate about like the Bible. I point you to like a section of the Bible that says abortion's okay in the circumstance. I even give you the verse and read it to you, and then your response is like, your followers are stupid. Like what? Okay, I mean, not. You shouldn't be catching them straight. Just don't.
Can you
listen to
search
that.
up what part of the Bible says abortion is okay and let me know what that says?
Numbers 522. If a man is
The
unfit,
Bible does not explicitly state the abortion is whatever the fuck that word is.
morally permissible. Yes, it does explicitly state that in Numbers 5, 1 through 22. Once again, if a wife is unfaithful to their husband and the husband is jealous, then the husband can take his wife to a preacher, and the preacher can give the wife a concoction that will force a miscarriage, and that was a moral commandment from God. So yeah, actually, it does explicitly say that abortion in the circumstance would be morally permissible.
What?
Yeah, man. I don't know what you're saying. What to?
What you just said.
Okay. Well, I just read scripture. Why are you disrespecting scripture, you fake Christian? Devil worshiper.
Not disrespecting scripture, first off.
Yes,
Actually,
you
I
are,
know
because you're acting as if Numbers 11 through 5:11 through 22 are not the true word of God. Do not deny God as written by the breath of man on the scripture in which we should use to live our lives. The moment you say that nowhere in the Bible does it explicitly say abortion in some circumstances is morally permissible, even though I just gave you the verses where it did, is you denying scripture, you satanic abomination.
I find it funny how all of y'all in here believe that abortion is okay. And the fact that you want to sit here and argue with people taking time out of your day to argue with people to prove to them how abortion is okay.
Cook? Yeah,
you're
hell yeah.
sick in the head.
Man, I think that you're sick in the head for denying the scripture of our God, you lunatic.
I think you're sick in the head for sitting here saying it's okay to kill babies because
honestly, I was just going to turn that around and say that you're sick in the head too. I don't know if there's anything in your head. I'll prove it.
There's a whole brain up there,
Okay.
clearly.
How many holes do women typically have below the waist?
Have you never been down in someone's pants to figure out for yourself or what?
Obviously, that's why I'm asking you. So what's the answer? I'm just curious.
They got two holes below the waist. One's only an exit. One's an enter.
Oh, no, you're wrong. It's 3.
So what's the third?
Yeah, the urethra. Dummy, you're stupid. That's you. Yep. Yeah, and the fact that you were like trying to like paint me as asking for that question is like never have been with a woman before. It's like what you were trying to paint
really
me as
bad.
for
Hold on.
never asking you, like for asking you that question, and then you give the wrong answer. I mean, self-dunk, dude. I mean, just total decimation. You did it to yourself there, man. I gotta say. Chat, y'all are fucking funny. Let me tell you, you guys are funny down below in that chat. All right, so what'll be good?
Just a bunch of sick fucks.
No, what were you saying? Did you just say a bunch of sisses? Is that what you said?
I said a bunch of sick fucks in this chat.
A little bunch of sick fucks. You know, I don't know, man. I don't think it's sick to say that we want women and girls to be able to enact upon a very simple, basic human right of bodily autonomy, given that there's no good reason to infringe upon the right to access abortion.
Someone said, bro is scared to debate. I'm not going to sit here and debate on why y'all believe something's true. That's not, and it's clearly stated in many places.
Clearly stated in many places that it's wrong. You sound like Trump. Good God.
Perfect. I'm glad I sound like Trump.
Oh, wait, you want to sound like him?
What you mean?
Well, I mean, if you want to sound like him, I'm going to go ahead and play you a clip of Donald Trump speaking, and I'm wondering if you could just like repeat after him, since it's such a good and perfect thing to sound like him. How about I just have you repeat after Trump? Are you ready?
How about I have you repeat after Biden?
Okay,
Can you like
I'll
go
do
to a
that
set of
after.
stairs?
Can you go to a set of I'll do that after. But before, I seriously, I want you to repeat after Trump.
Hey, can you go down to a set of stairs real quick and fucking fall like an idiot?
Think about the conflict a little bit later on. The question is, how can it not be construed?
No, I mean, some of these foreign girls, you know, Mr. Trump, in my country, we say hello with the vagina. And
What you could also say is the owner of the pageant, it's your obligation to do that.
So you have done that. Now,
I'll tell you the funniest is that I'll go backstage before a show.
Yes.
And everyone's getting dressed and ready and everything else. And, you know, no men are anywhere. And I'm allowed to go in because I'm the owner of the pageant, and therefore I'm inspecting it. You know, I'm inspecting. I want to make sure that
like a
everything
doctor.
is good.
You're there.
Yeah, the dress. Is everyone okay? You know, they're standing there with no clothes. Is everybody okay? And you see these incredible looking women, and so I sort of get away with things like that.
Do you want to repeat after him? Since I mean, it's such a good, perfect guy, like you said. Do you want to repeat after him? Do you want to talk about how like you've walked into the changing rooms where only women were like there were teenagers and adult women naked and undressed and boast about how good they looked when you were perving on them? Is that something that you do too?
And you're trying to say something about that, but Biden has little kids in his basement, so you want to keep going?
Wait, buddy. Dude, do you think a debate is just whoever could make shit up to one-up their opponent? No, No, a debate is when we talk about things that are true. Like the point of a debate is to like track truth and have a conversation about the world. Okay, but like you can't just like make shit up on the fly, right? No, like I played you a clip of Donald Trump admitting to perving on naked teenage girls, and then your response was, "Biden has kids in his basement." Like what? No, address the facts. You support a pedophile.
I support a pedophile.
Yeah.
Okay.
You just heard him admit to perving on naked teenage girls.
You support somebody that thinks murdering is okay. Abortion is okay.
So I have a question. Is every single one of your counter arguments going to be but Biden?
But Biden?
How
about this? Why don't you go to a set of stairs in your house?
You have Biden derangement syndrome.
Since you want to act like Biden.
Yo, Sonny, thank you so much for the $10 over on PayPal. I appreciate you for the love, as well as Mara with the $30 over on PayPal as well, saying here's to pro-choice. Tiamo Dean, you're hilarious. I appreciate you so much for the love, Myra. And as well as Anna with the $20, Gabby with a 25, and Deirdre with a 10. Thank you guys so much for the love. Show some love to Anna, Gabby, Sonny, and Myra down below in that chat. Could we get some W's from you for all the donations?
From me?
Yeah, no, like for instance, like Anna just donated me $20.
I don't support Biden.
Thank you. Why? Okay, wait.
Wait.
So I'm thanking my donors, and then even that has to do with Biden, bro. You lost it. Oh my God! Wait, shut up, Wayne. Thank you so much for the $100 over on Venmo. Jesus, Wayne. Let's get 1,000 Wayne W's down below in that chat. Oh my gosh, dude. Show some love to Wayne down below, literally right now for the $100. Thank you so much. It is so incredibly kind of you. Dude, shout out Wayne. Holy shit. As well as Joe, thank you for the $20 over on Venmo, saying I truly appreciate you for standing up for truth, equality, and basic human decency and staying calm while surrounded by the wildest conspiracy theories known to man. Keep going, Dean. Love you. Appreciate you, Joe and Wayne. As well as Emily, thank you for the $10 on Venmo just to call this guy fucking stupid. Dude, W. Emily, how do you feel about that? Emily donated me $10 just to call you dumb.
She took time out of her day to call me stupid. Oh my god.
Hey, how do you feel about that? Somebody took time out of their day and spent $10 just to call you stupid.
I'm fucking hurt, man. I'm hurt. This shit hurts, man.
As well as Amber, thank you so much for the $25 over on PayPal. And Melissa, thank you so much for the 15. Show some love to Amber and Melanie. Sorry, not Melissa. Melanie, down below in that chat. Oh, Melanie says, we're going to go ahead and read out her message. I love abortion. God bless the Lord. And God bless you too, Dean. Thank you for the love, Melanie. Shout out to you down below in that chat. That is so incredible.
And that just shows you how sick y'all are. I love abortion.
I'm gonna
It's fucking insane.
I'm gonna show you why you have no reason to think that abortion is wrong. Are you ready?
I'm so not ready, but yeah, let's go.
Would you say that it's like abortion is murder because you're killing like a human that's alive?
You need to go back and read the Bible. You need to go sit in a church pew and listen to a pastor preach.
I know
all
more.
day.
I know more about the Bible and more about the church than you do. You're not answering my question though.
Do you?
Yeah, for sure. Let's test it. What's the Council of Nicaea?
The fuck I know.
Right. Well, the Council of Nicaea is probably
hold up. First off,
like the
what
one.
Bible do you even be reading?
The Council of Nicaea is probably like the one thing that separates like true Christian religion, like faiths, from like heretical faiths, because it defines what the Trinity is. The Council of Nicaea was held around 220 AD, and it is probably the most important thing to happen in the church, after Jesus died and resurrected in accordance with the beliefs of the faith. So you definitely shouldn't be arguing that you know a whole lot about your theology here if you don't even know what the Council of Nicaea is. Very, very, very important. As well as Sid, thank you so much for the, let's see here, $45 donation over on Venmo. Let's get, dude, oh my God. Let's get 500 Sid W's down below in the chat. Sid says, can you just let him know that I hate him, please? I have COVID right now and he's making it worse. Well, Sid hates you.
If you hate me so much, you can go ahead and DM me, and you can go ahead and talk all your little shit that you want, and do whatever you little want.
Wow.
And it's the fact that 15,700 people are taking time out of their day to watch an idiot talk about Biden.
Wait, if I'm an idiot, that means I'm not that smart and I don't know that much, right?
Correct.
Prove it.
Prove it?
Yeah, prove that I'm not that smart and don't know that much. Give us any reason to
Why don't
accept
you
that.
go debate with a professional debater that is on Trump's side, and I guarantee you would not win.
Okay, for sure. I debated Ben Shapiro. He left shaking my hand, then going on a podcast saying that I made a really good point that he had to think about. I also debated Charlie Kirk. He left shaking his hand, and Charlie Kirk told me that he gave me the best argument he's ever heard about abortion and said that he'd like to talk to me again and that he thinks I'm incredibly intelligent.
And probably told you to go fuck yourself when he was done, didn't he?
No, he said that is incredibly intelligent.
Yeah, okay.
I mean, you want to hear it? I have the clip on standby. I posted it on my Twitter a while back, so it's going to pull that up. While we're pulling that up, everybody, just make sure we're double tapping on that phone screen so we could shoot.
He's mad. I am so mad. Yeah, I'm so mad. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Yep. We have the clip. Here it is.
Very smart kid. I actually think Dean is more likely to one day become more conservative because he's intellectually honest.
Would you ever be open to sitting down with him again and speaking to him?
Parker, that's maybe, yeah, he'd have to clean up his act. Dean, for sure, and I actually have a heart for Dean in a way, not in a romantic way.
Yeah, there you go. See how you're wrong?
Why are you getting so scared, Caleb?
Do you see how you're wrong? Right? You said, he probably called you fucking stupid. Yeah, how do you feel about that? I just played you a clip of him calling me incredibly intelligent. Oh, man.
Good for you. Good for you, I guess. If that's what makes you happy at the end of the day, I'm glad that's what
Dude,
makes
Duncan,
you happy.
proven every single word that comes out of your mouth wrong does get
You
me
can
joy.
prove everybody wrong.
Jessica, thank you for the $20 over on Venmo, saying that this guy's brain dead. So real, Jessica. I appreciate you for the 20. Huge shout out to Jessica down below. As well as Ray with the $10 on Venmo, saying this dude is lost in the Trump-colored sauce. Love you, Dean, and stay strong. I appreciate you for the love, Ray. Kayla, thank you for the 5. And Morgan, thank you for the 15. I really appreciate that, Morgan. That is so incredibly kind of you. Thank you so much, Morgan. Thank you so much. As well as, let's see here, Kristen with the $10. Thank you so much. Shout out to Kristen's daughter, Lauren. As well as Katty with the $10. Thank you so much. Saying, donate this to Planned Parenthood in the loser's name. You fucking got it. Tegan with the $10 and Mia with the $10. Thank you guys so much for the love. You guys are so incredibly kind. You guys are awesome, awesome, awesome. As well as Maria with the $10 over on PayPal. Sarah with the $10 over on PayPal. And Justin with the $15 over on PayPal. You guys are so incredibly kind. Huge shout out to all the donors. One last one. Courtney, thank you for the $10 over on Venmo just to call the guest stupid again. Damn, bro, you're kind of getting like shredded here. Should I be nicer to you, Kaden?
Who the fuck's Caden? First off,
you? I don't know. Is there?
Hell, learn how to read,
name?
stupid ass.
Caleb, sorry, very forgettable person and name. So Caleb, should I be nicer
I'd love
to
for
you?
you to forget about me after this, please, and I'll forget about you and your 15,000 people sitting in here watching your stupid ass.
You've mentioned the 15.8 thousand people sitting in here watching my stupid ass a handful of times. First and foremost, I'd like to correct you. We also have nearly 4,000 people over on the YouTube stream, which would total to around 20,000 concurrent people watching your stupid ass live, not 15,000. So thank you very much.
Wow,
and you've
5,000 more.
mentioned
Do you want a fucking
them.
cookie? Didn't think so. Shut up.
Do I want a cookie?
Did I stutter?
I feel like if I were to give you the ingredients to make them for me, you'd end up blowing the kitchen up.
No one said I was making them, did I? Or
Store-bought ingredients to make them for me, you'd end up blowing the kitchen up.
No one said I was making them.
What's next? Tell us why you support Trump. I said store-bought cookies are your style. And yeah, that's a fucking diss, bro. But no, tell us why you support Trump. Take it away. Ashley, thank you for the $10 over on PayPal. Melanie, thank you for the $10 over on PayPal as well. Thank you, Ashley and Melanie. I appreciate you guys.
You make no sense.
Yeah, we had a little bit of a lag spike there. We're back now. Sorry, that was just TikTok. We're good now. But take the mic away. Tell us why you support Trump.
Store-bought fucking cookies.
Okay, sorry. Tell us why you support Trump, please.
Support Trump because he's a king. He's a fucking king. Biden's a little bitch.
I have a question. What was the Revolutionary War fought over?
The fuck if I know. I don't do my research and sit on my ass like you all day and get into politics and shit all day.
The Revolutionary War was fought over America ridding themselves of kings. I have a question. You know the people who fought in the Revolutionary War made the Constitution? Oh man.
So has anybody ever gotten on this app and proved you wrong?
Yeah, no, for sure. Like I had a bunch of pro-choicers prove me wrong when I was pro-life like 4 years ago. They proved me wrong. I think I've also been proven wrong about being a libertarian. I've been proven wrong about like some like minuscule facts of like my immigration policy and what I think should be the case, a couple of things. But you're definitely not proving me wrong at all.
Me, wrong, spit it out, stupid fuck.
Okay, you're mad that I was talking slow? What's going on? I don't.
Nobody's mad. I promise you, I'm not mad.
But typically, like you only call people stupid fucks after they just demonstrate a really simple fact that the Revolutionary War was fought over ridding ourselves of kings. Like typically, the only time people do this when they're mad. You do seem mad. In fact, you seem very triggered. And if I had to make a very professional evaluation, I might even call you an immature snowflake. I don't think that you can handle it, you snowflake.
Oh man, that really got under
Alania,
my
thank you so much for the $50 over on YouTube Super Chat. Guys, show some love to Alania down below. They say, Dean, I took my Regents exams today, and it took a little bit more than 2 brain cells, which is more than what I could say about Caleb. Hey, dude, good stuff on going through your exams today, and thank you for the $50, Alania. Show some love to Alania down below. As well as Gentle Tension with the $20, and I just told Parker that my Jedi Millennial friends are finally feeling some hope about young, brilliant, and passionate political figures, making it cool to be informed and compassionate. So proud of you and Parker. Thank you so much for the love. That is an incredibly kind message. Yeah. Hopefully I'm making it like not cool at all to be politically uninformed like, Mr. Caleb down here. I'd also like to thank Corey for the $100 over on Venmo. That is C-O-R-Y. Sorry, Corey. Thank you so much for the love. Corey says, this guy's out of his depth. Find somebody who's worth your time. You know what? I'm actually inclined to agree with you, Corey. I think after we finish thanking these donors, we are going to move on. Thank you for the $100, Corey. Let's see, 1,000 Corey W's down below in that comment section. I really appreciate you for the $100. But also, Will, thank you so much for the $30 over on Venmo. Scarlett with a 10. Peyton with a 5. Hunter with a 10. Thank you so much. Brittany with a 5. Donkia with a 10. And Mia with a 5 as well. I'd also like to thank Holly for the $25 over on PayPal. Thank you for the love, Holly. Says for us to be Trump using AI. Nothing he says makes sense. Definitely, nothing he says makes sense. Thank you for the $25, Holly. As well as Ashley with a $10. Melanie with a 10. Ava with a 6. And Miko with a 1. Okay, I have one last question for you. Is Trump my daddy?
Yeah, Trump's your little fucking daddy.
Okay, why is Trump my daddy?
Because you listen like a good little bitch.
Because I listen like a good little bitch. Would like a better explanation be like, you think that Trump is my daddy because he's my president?
Yep, he is your president.
And because he's my president, he's my daddy?
Is he or is he not?
No, he is. Would you say that because he's my president, he's my daddy?
Wait, no. Whoa. No more. That's all I needed to hear. Is Trump your president?
Of course. He's the president of America. So would you say that's what makes him my daddy?
You too, dumbass.
Would you say that's what makes him my daddy?
Yeah, that is your daddy. You better listen to him too.
So if Trump is my daddy because he's my president, I have a question. Is Trump your president?
Yes, he is.
So that means he's your daddy too?
He is not my daddy. I have my own dad.
Wait. No, he would be your daddy because he's your president.
Then I guess he's everybody's daddy, huh?
So if he's everybody's daddy and everybody includes you, he's your daddy too.
I guess.
Okay, say it.
Why would I say that?
Because it's true.
Okay.
Say it. Say it.
Shut the fuck up.
Say it.
Say it.
Why won't you say it if it's true?
Is Biden your little daddy?
No, I don't think that presidents are daddies. But you do for whatever weird fucking reason. So
well, then
tell
why
us.
would you ask?
So then
why
tell
would you
us.
ask if Trump is my daddy if you're the one clearly sitting here saying, is Trump your daddy?
Because you said he was my daddy because he's my president. He's also your president, which would imply that he's also your daddy.
Did I bring up anything about Trump being a daddy at first, or did you?
No, you did.
No, you clearly asked me, is Trump my daddy?
And why did I ask you that?
The fuck?
And why did I ask you that?
Same reason you ask everybody else all these stupid fucking questions.
I asked you if Trump was your daddy because you said Trump is my daddy, and you said Trump is my daddy because he's my president. So the reason why I asked you if Trump is your daddy is because if it's true that he's the daddy of anybody he's president of, and he's your president, he'd thereby also be your daddy. It's just a logical implication given the belief in which you described. So given the belief that you think if he's my president, he's therefore my daddy. If he's your president, he's therefore your daddy. And you seem to accept this. You said, yes, it's true. So say it because it's true. Say it. Say Trump is my daddy.
Why would I say it?
Because apparently it's true. According to you, it's a true fact.
But Trump's not my daddy.
Okay, so then he's not my daddy either.
So then why even bring up the fact about Trump being a daddy?
Because you said Trump was my daddy.
Yeah.
So Trump isn't my daddy or Trump is my daddy? Which one is it?
I don't know. That's your decision.
Okay, walk it back, buddy. Now skedaddle, Caleb. We're going to move on to the next guest. That's always such a fun argument to run on people. I got to say, that is one of my favorite. That is one of my that is like one of the old time, that is a very goated argument right there. That is one of my favorite, I got to say. Let's go to get that next guest up in here. As was pointed out, he's a little bit out of his depth. Yo, Ismaeen, thank you so much for the Ismaeen, thank you for the $20 over on Venmo, saying going on a first date this afternoon, wish me luck. Good luck, Ismaeen. Please stay safe and have fun. Shout out to Ismaeen, spelled Ismene, down below in that chat. What is going on? Do you support Trump?
Wait, hold on.
Oh,
You're
that is
frozen.
going to be a child. So we're going to move on to the next guest. Here we go, guys. If you're in that queue, make sure that means that you support Donald J. Trump and you're ready and willing to come up here and have a good conversation with me about why. All right, everybody. Moving on to the next guest, y'all. Everyone, just give us a minute. If you're part of the 16,000 people watching live over on TikTok, make sure that you're double tapping and sharing. As well as Tony, thank you for the $11 and the 11 cents over on PayPal. And Eyes with the $10. Thank you guys so much. And then Hunter, thank you so much for the $10 over on Venmo as well. Thank you, Tony, Eyes, and Hunter. You guys are awesome. And then Stephanie for the $10 on PayPal as well, saying I live for these lives. Love you, Teen. I love you too, Stephanie. Thank you so much. What's going on in the SAC? Are you MAGA?
Used to be.
All right. Well, I'm happy that you're not anymore, man, but we are just looking to talk to people that still do support Trump, so good on you for stopping. Now let's go ahead and talk to some people that haven't. All right, moving on to the next guest. Here we go. If you're watching and you're an American adult that'd like to come up here and debate me on why you do support Trump, I'd love to bring you up. What's going on, Miss Skylar? Are you MAGA? Okay, looks like Skylar wanted to hit the road there, so we'll get the next guest, Grant, up in the box. Here we go. What's going on, Grant? You MAGA?
Yeah, I'm 18 years old.
Don't believe that for a second. Goodbye, Grant. Moving on to the next guest. AQ is loading up into the stream as we speak. We also, honestly, we're going to try to get like a bunch of people up here. How about that, guys? I mean, it's been a while since we've had a true panel discussion. What's going on, Colin Old Chip? You support Trump? Colin Old Chip sure as hell ain't here. Really hard to find a debate.
Hello?
It's another child.
Hello?
Wow. Okay. All right. All right. Okay. Okay. All right. Oh, shit. Carlos, thank you for the galaxy. Well, tell me why it is so hard for me to fight a debate. Honestly, I think that these damn Trump supporters are scared of me. What about you guys? Do you guys think that these Trump supporters are scared of me? Because I sure do. What's going on, Paloma? You MAGA?
Yes, I am.
Oh, Paloma, that's so sad to hear. What about you? Oh, wait. Actually, you've already been up before. I remember you. You were not MAGA. All right, Paloma, how old are you?
I'm 20.
Okay, and tell us why you support the man, the myth, the failure, Donald J. Trump, the worst president of your life.
Well, I don't think he's the worst president. I think compared to Kamala Harris and Trump, well, yeah, Kamala. Sorry, I have like a little bit of an accent, but I think I think 20 years old. Like I can't go out and buy a house with my husband because the economy was so crap.
Dude,
So-
what housing affordability policy does Trump have, out of curiosity?
I wouldn't know.
Because he
honestly.
doesn't have any. You know that Kamala Harris wanted to give you, me, your husband, $25,000 to buy a newly developed newly developed house for the first time?
Well, see, I didn't know that, but I also don't believe that would have happened either.
Oh, why not? What?
Just cause.
Just because why?
I don't really have a reason for.
Okay, so you're able to identify something good that the Democrats would have done if they won the election, but your argument here is that they wouldn't have done it because they wouldn't have done it.
Well, it was also that, but most of my reason why, well, my main reason why I voted for Trump is
Abortion?
like partially yes, but it was more of the keeping the borders closed.
Ah, so true, so true. Closing down the borders. Okay, all right. Well, I don't think a good way to close the borders is to convince undocumented immigrants as a whole, that they have a lower quality of life in the country because the undocumented immigrants in America are having their human and constitutional rights violated. Obviously, we could both disagree with that, right?
Yeah.
Okay, well, that's what Trump is doing. The reason why the quote-unquote borders are closed and crossings are down is because Donald Trump is just going full on fascist on the undocumented immigrants in this country. All right, we could agree that's a bad thing.
I can agree to disagree.
What? I mean, think about Enrique Garcia. He was unconstitutionally, illegally deported to a center for terrorists in El Salvador with no due process, violating a withholding order, even though he had no criminal past. Obviously, that's crazy.
A lot of people don't. I mean,
that's crazy.
A lot of people don't. I mean, a lot of people, I feel like, with the hate that Trump gets on, the deportations and everything, but a lot of people forgot the stuff that Obama did when he was literally the deporter in chief.
Ah, but Obama. Okay. There's really big differences between Trump and Obama. First, Trump wants to deport every undocumented immigrant in America. Obama
And
only
I
wanted to
agree with
focus on those with prior criminal offenses. And I mean, this is obviously true. Obama created DACA, which was a way for undocumented immigrants without prior violent offenses to get a work permit to work in our labor force. So no, there's big differences between Trump and Obama. But you said that you agree with mass deportation. Really?
Yeah, I do. I come from a family of immigrants. My mom and dad, they're both immigrant. You know, they came from Mexico, but they did it the right way. And watching people, like watching them suffer and go through the process of, getting their citizenship, going through, all of that, and them as illegals, like, or they were illegal, also disagree with, well, they also agree, sorry, what Trump's doing on these deportations.
Oh, dear lordy lord. Okay, check this out. Mass deportation kills America. All right. If we were to remove every undocumented immigrant today, tomorrow GDP growth would go down from 1.1 trillion through 1.7 trillion per year. We would lose $100 billion plus in government revenue. All right. Our manufacturers would be incredibly less productive since we would be forcing 8.3 million of their laborers out of the labor force. Okay. Our consumer market would be fucked because we'd be forcing 12 million consumers out of the consumer market. Okay. The economy would be weaker. Our government would be weaker. Okay. That means that average qualities of life goes down and poverty goes up. With more poverty comes more crime. So now there's more violent crimes in the streets of America. Mass deportation is terrible for all of those reasons. Can you identify to us one way that mass deportation actually helps this country?
Well, I mean, I'm a mom, so I have to look out for my kid, obviously. And like I see the comments that a lot of people are like, oh, you're not Mexican. I am Mexican. I come from very deep Mexican roots.
Okay, so
I want to protect my child from drugs, from, child trafficking, because that's scary. It's a thing. It's something that happens on a daily basis. It's one of the biggest things right now that's going on.
Undocumented immigrants are 2.5 times less likely to commit violent crimes compared to natural U.S.-born citizens.
Actually, that's not true. Because, so I live in Arizona. And literally a couple days ago in the neighborhood, literally right next to me, there was a bunch of police officers, police ICE, and they raided a house that had 500 pounds of fentanyl.
Oh, yeah, and you got
33
cooked.
pounds of cocaine.
And you got cooked. Oh, she just kept going. So, I mean, unfortunate story to her, but we got to kick her because you can't say the names of DRUGS on TikTok Live. TikTok hates it. They ban us for it. They restrict us for it. So we got to move on, unfortunately. I really wish I would have been able to continue the conversation with her. Like, I'm not going to lie. I really wish I was able to, but we just had to kick her because that is a violation of the TikTok terms of service that like really hurts the lives. What's going on, Ultra? You MAGA? Ultra is not here. We're going to move on to the next guest. Keller James, thank you so much for the $20 super chat over on that YouTube stream. Shout out to Keller down below. Keller says, Dean, please debate Caitlin Bennett. You know, funny enough, I texted her on Twitter as well as I sent a reply to one of her new tweets asking her to reach out. I'd love to debate her. I really would. What's up, Willa? You support Trump?
Yeah.
Age, please. Yeah, it's a child. Hop out, bro. Hop out. Hunter, thank you for the $10 over on Venmo. Appreciate you so much, bro. You got him to say it so funny. You got to say true word. As well as Anna, thank you for the $10 over on Venmo saying that you're amazing. I appreciate that, Hunter and Anna. Show some love to Hunter and Anna down below. I'd also like to thank Sarah. Thank you so much for the $20 over on Bayball. Sarah says, Dean, me and my family love your lives and love seeing you stand up for others and women's rights. Please keep doing what you're doing. Sarah, I love you guys. That is so incredibly kind. Show some love to Sarah and Sarah's family down below in that chat while we hop into this next debate with Mr. Aiden over here. Aiden, are you MAGA?
Yeah, I am.
Cool. How old are you?
19.
Great. Okay, well, Mr. Aiden, take it away. Tell us why you support the man, the myth, the failure, Dipey Don.
Well, I have a question for you, actually.
Okay, I can do
So, why are you so against, like, deportation whenever Obama deported 11 million immigrants?
that. Okay, he actually didn't. He deported 3 in 8 years.
Look it up. It's over 11 million.
You're talking about Clinton. Obama did 3 million.
Yeah, and also, okay, so, and also he gave billions of dollars to Iran, our enemy.
Right, and he did that for a good reason.
Right.
Do you know why he gave them billions of dollars?
Yeah, there is no good reason.
Yes, there was a
reason to give our enemies money.
There was a damning good reason, sir. Do you know what the reason was?
What was the reason?
Because it was a part of the nuclear peace agreement that we signed with them to prevent them from their further development of weapons of mass destruction and nuclear warheads. Holy
Okay.
shit. And it's fucking funny because Donald Trump
Alright.
pulled us out of that agreement. They then continued their development of nukes. And now apparently the threat is so imminent that we have to go back into war into the Middle East. If Donald Trump never pulled us out of the agreement, we would have avoided a war in the Middle East. So God, I gotta say, giving Iran some money to avoid war in the Middle East is definitely a damn good idea. Can't you agree, sir?
Okay. I get what you're saying to a certain degree, but like,
Also, why the
you know,
fuck are we
to
talking
avoid
about a
killing-
president from like 2012? Okay, look at the prompt.
Yeah, I know, but it's the same subject because you support Biden and you support Kamala Harris. And Kamala Harris kept people past their sentences. She was a horrible person. She was a horrible prosecutor.
Horrible prosecutor. Who does she keep past their sentence?
Black males in America.
Okay.
Who for drug
don't say the
charges.
name of any. Don't say the name of any DRUGS.
Yeah, I know.
Okay.
Um,
Okay. Well, I mean, I'm
But
actually
I do
led to believe
actually-
that this certainly isn't true because when she was serving as the DA of San Francisco, she actually started a program to allow first-time DRUG offenders to, instead of going to jail, to go into a program to get accreditations to work, right? And I mean, it was a first program of the kind. Like, can you seriously name like a prison reform program that intended to keep low-level DRUG offenders out of jail that was operating in America like hers was like 20 years ago? Can you name any other DA of any other city that did that? No. She was like on the cutting edge of criminal justice reform to end the war on drugs. I mean, even in like 2014, this was 10 years ago, she said that we need to stop the war on drugs. And then when she was in the Senate, she actually co-signed herself on federal legislation that would have federally decriminalized the use of the M drug. And why didn't it pass? Because of the GOP, because of Maga, because of Trump. The only reason why the use of the M drug is still federally criminalized is because of the Republicans. So do not try to paint this picture as if it was Kamala Harris or the Democrats, right, that are furthering the persecution more so than the other side of the aisle. That's right. And fun fact, if this is the worst thing you can name about Kamala Harris, then you must really hate Trump. Because Donald Trump has gone on record boasting about walking into the changing rooms of underage, naked teenage girls. Right? He's also been held civilly liable for rape, committed 34 felonies.
Well, he never got charged with those. Did he?
Yeah, he got held liable in a civil court for rape. He was charged and found guilty of 34 felonies. Yeah, and he wasn't charged for perving on the naked girls, but we don't need that because he literally admitted to it.
Yeah, well,
like we don't need that to prove that it happened.
Felonies,
we should have criminal persecution for him.
Don't you think it's kind of weird though how he got charged with those felonies right before he was about to run as president again?
No, I don't find it weird at all.
No, you don't.
Yeah,
like
our criminal justice system and our
name?
prosecutors should definitely be putting like more urgency and weight on ensuring that if we have a criminal running for the presidency, that the public knows that.
Like, I don't agree with everything Trump says. Like, I don't think he's like the worst guy ever. I mean, could you really name me like 5 things off the top of your head that like he is like Satan, like he's the worst person ever?
Yeah.
Can you name me 5?
Yeah, for sure. Rape, pedophilia, racism, let's see, xenophobia, and a devaluation of women.
Okay. Would you say Joe Biden was a racist?
I think that he's done racist things in his past, yeah.
Okay.
What about Kamala Harris?
But Kamala Harris, I don't like her because she just switched up her stories about who she was. First she was Indian, then she was black. She just kept switching it just so she could get people to vote for her.
Really? First she was
And
Indian,
that is the truth. That is the whole truth.
First she was Indian, then she was black. First and foremost, do you think that Indian is a race?
Not really, no. I mean,
right, it's South Asian.
She said she was though.
I gotta ask you a very, 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 very simple question, sir. Now, this is probably the easiest question I've asked since I started my life.
I gotcha.
How many biological parents do you have?
2.
How many biological parents do I have?
2.
How many biological parents does Kamala Harris have?
2.
and our genetic makeup. How much do we get from our mother?
50%.
How much do we get from our father?
50%.
Wow. Would
Yeah,
you believe me?
I
Would
know-
you believe me if I told you? Would you believe me if I told you that Kamala Harris's mother was from India?
Yes,
and
I
she was
know where
South
you're going.
Asian, and Kamala Harris's father was from Jamaica, and he was Afro-Jamaican or black. So she is both South
Well, I
Asian
know, but for a while,
and
she was just
black
saying she was saying
simultaneously.
one thing.
No, she
Well,
wasn't.
I'm just saying,
no, she
for a while,
wasn't.
she was saying
I'll
that.
give you
Yes, she was.
$1,000 if you could give me a clip of Kamala Harris saying that she's only black.
Yeah, I'll have to send it to you, but
do it. Wait, whoa. $1,000 on the line right now. I'll give you 10 minutes. Do it right now. On live right now. $1,000.
Well, if I go off of here, it'll take me off. But I'll send it to you. I'll send you it.
No, it
I
actually
will.
won't take you off. You could go on pause, go to Google. I won't be able to hear you, but you'll be able to come back and give me a reference. $1,000, bro. Or
All right,
she
I will, but,
specifically says that she's only black.
She has said it. I mean, I've seen it with my own eyes.
Okay, so
the clip,
then
but
$1,000
anyway.
if you want to give it to me right now.
Okay. All right. Hold on. Give me 1 second, then.
Great. Well, Aiden's
I'll be right
looking-
back.
All right, don't leave the live. Just go on pause.
I
and
won't
the
leave.
app. For sure, and you'll still be able to hear me. I won't be able to hear you, but you'll be able to hear me. Phenomenal. While he's doing that, I'd love to thank, let's see here. Once again, if you want to support me, you can find my Venmo, my PayPal, and the link tree in my bio. I get 100% of the proceeds over on those platforms. They go straight to me, as well as you could attach your name and a message. I think today I've been pretty good about trying to get around to every single person that's been showing love and supporting. So yeah, I mean, if you want a message to get across, want a shout out, etc., you can support me over the link in my bio. What's going on, Gareth? Are you MAGA?
I'm for making.
what's going on?
Can you hear me?
Gareth, are you driving?
I'm in the car. I'm not driving.
Okay, could you disconnect your phone from Bluetooth?
Let me try.
All right. Well, he's disconnecting his phone from Bluetooth. How about we bring a third guest up? There we go, Gareth.
better?
Yeah. Do you support Trump, man?
To an extent.
All right. First of all, could I have your driver say hey real quick?
My driver?
Yeah, you said that you're not driving, so whoever is driving, could you have them say hey real quick?
Well, I can't because he's deaf.
And get out of here. Moving on to the next guest, Trump MAGA 24. We're going to go to get them loaded up into the box as we talk, y'all. So just do be patient, y'all. Do be patient while we get that next guest loaded in. Keep in mind, if you're in that queue, make sure that means that you're from America, at least 18, and support Trump, y'all. Make sure that means that you're from America, at least 18, and support Trump. What's going on, MAGA? Trump MAGA 24 and Alexis. Are you guys Trump supporters?
Oh, hi. I didn't mean to request. I was just listening to your live. No.
No worries. What about you, Trump MAGA? Oh, looks like Trump MAGA isn't even here. Wow, 17,000 people. And I can't find one Trump supporter. Look at that, everybody.
All
Look at
I'm
that.
back, man. Can you hear me?
Yeah, no, I can.
Sorry, I found the clip. She says that she's Indian, not black. Sorry. That's what she said. She never said she was black. She only said she was Indian.
Oh, okay. So
Yeah.
I don't know if you heard my question. She is on multiple circumstances talked about how she's black, and she's in multiple circumstances talked about how she's Indian. However,
Well, in
she's
in this clip, she
she's
says she's only Indian and she's not black.
Okay, for
She
sure.
says it in the clip.
Okay, then show me the clip.
Do you want me to send it? Okay, I'll send it to you right now.
Yeah, how can I find the clip?
All right. Yeah, can I just, if I click on your profile, it won't kick me off, will it?
No, you just give me the title.
Oh. I have to.
Aiden, what's the title of the clip? We are waiting patiently.
It's on Facebook, but like it won't let me
So-
it doesn't
so-
tell me that. Like,
I'll need like the keywords or the title to look it up. And he just left. Okay. Aiden. Whatever the fuck your name was. What a wild thing to do. Listen. If you're wrong, guys, If you come up here to debate me and you say something that's wrong, just own it. Just
Jimmy
own
Carter
it.
2028. Jimmy Carter 2028.
Jimmy Carter's dead. Moving on to the next guest. Here we go, everybody. Let's go and get that next guest, Darren, loaded up into the live. Let me know if you're MAGA and support Trump down below by dropping a MAGA with your age. Make sure if you want to come up here and debate that you're just dropping your, make sure that you're from America and you're at least 18 and you're ready and willing to come up here and have a discussion with me. Right now, we have over 17,000 people in the live, and it is so hard for us to find somebody to debate. Quite crazy, if I say.
Hey, fuck you, stubborn bitch. Fuck you, Dean! Fuck!
Okay, so at this point, I would usually kick you because you use slurs. I do have one question, though, Oliver. Can you name one demographic of people, like alive, that you look intelligent to right now?
What are you talking to?
Oh, get caught by the mom! Yeah, get caught by the mom. Get caught by the mom. You deserve that one. Yeah. Go explain that to your mother, little boy. Go explain that one to the mother, little boy. That's what that. Yeah, that's what you get. That's what you get, bro. That's what you get. What's going on? You support Trump?
Hell yeah, man.
Okay, how old are you?
18.
What year were you born in?
2007, January 8th.
Cool. All right. Before we hop into a debate, I got a couple people to thank. Ben, thank you for the $20 over on Venmo. Saying, Dean, you were truly inspirational, personally keeping me engaged and sane in this wild world. Thank you. Thank you, Ben. Everybody, show some love to Ben for the $20 down below, as well as Gerardo for the $10. And I tune into your lives when I work out. Lamau, you're the GOAT. Jara, dude, you've been tuning in here forever. Shout out to you. Shout out to you down below in that box. Thank you so much for the $10. I would also like to go ahead and show some very special love over to Carla and No Business for the $10 each over on PayPal. Shout out to No Business and Carla down below in that chat. I really appreciate you guys so much for the love. Now, take it away. Tell us why you support the worst president of your life, Trump.
I don't know. I wouldn't say he's the worst president because it seems like a lot of Democrats want to like cosplay as Republicans. It's kind of funny.
What?
Like for example, your mods.
What the fuck are you talking about?
They were on live at 6 a.m. cosplaying as Republicans, saying multiple slurs, and I sent you the proof. I sent you the proof.
Which one?
On Discord.
What's your Discord?
It is XHELOL.
If you're telling the truth, I actually really appreciate you for coming up here and telling me this. What's your Discord?
XHELOL.
How long ago did you send this to me? This is true. You're actually doing a pretty good service right now. I want to let you know, if what you're saying is true, you're doing a fucking good service right now.
What?
So I'm trying to find you here. Are you in my requests?
Okay. Yeah, I should be. I sent you like the full thing.
Was it at 4:27 a.m.?
What are you Central?
Did you send it at like if you're Central, did you send it at 5:27 a.m.?
I'm EST.
Okay.
Yeah, that's me. That's me. Yes.
Cool. Awesome.
No, I don't, bro. I don't know if because they were in live, like saying like, I hope Dean looks at mod chat. Dean needs to look at mod chat, bro. I don't know, but and there was a bunch of other people in the chat as well. I actually typed in your server and said, "Why are Dean's admins?" And look, the screenshot shows she was like showing that she was admin in your server or mod or whatever.
I appreciate you for bringing this to my attention. I'll make sure that I do a little bit of a look into what happened specifically, who said what.
And like literally,
what I could promise you is that if like this happened, that they'll be taken care of and immediately demoted from my server. And if like what you're saying is true, I legitimately appreciate you for coming up and making sure that this was brought to my attention, because the likelihood of me ever looking at your DM without you coming up and telling me this is like close to none. So I do appreciate you for coming up and bringing it to my attention.
Yes, and I want to thank you for actually taking the time to look into this. All right, I genuinely appreciate you, and to be more of a help. Literally, if you go on your server, search up my username, and then literally just look at like my last messages. My last messages were, oh wait, actually, I can literally tell you the mod right now. Like unironically, I can tell you.
How about this? I'll reach out. I'll reach out to you.
Okay.
Once I get off But
Yep.
I'll reach out once I get off for more information. And I'll like for more information. So I mean, like if it's determined that this happened, you know, what's gonna happen is that they'll be demoted and kicked. Now, like, I mean, I don't foresee this, but like, if for whatever reason, if there's like this unforeseeable outcome that like nothing wrong was done, I'll come on live and explain that. I'll bring this up again. So basically, I'll be in touch with you privately as well as like publicly, like everybody else. You guys will be hearing out about this likely tomorrow. I'll say likely tomorrow. You guys will be hearing about what the outcome of this is. But once again, I appreciate you so much for bringing this to my attention, man.
All right, no problem. Thank you.
Yeah, of course. Have a good rest of your day. Have a good rest of your day.
You too.
Oh, dude. I really hope that there's like either this isn't true or that he's like lying or that I really hope this isn't true. I really hope this isn't true. Because if it is true, man, that's insane, bro. That pisses me off. Okay, we're gonna recenter on the Trump debates. We're gonna recenter on the Trump debates. That upsets me. That upsets me a lot.
What the fuck?
What's going on? It sounds like you are driving in a car, so I'm gonna go to move on to the next guest. Also, you guys are saying something like wrong with my mic. Is my mic okay? But yeah, let's go to move on to the next guest. If you're in that queue, make sure that you're at least 18 and you're ready and willing to come up here and have a conversation with me. So everybody just do be patient while we get that next guest up in the box, y'all. But once again, when I'm off live, I'll get a chance to look into that. Moving on for now. Moving on for now, everybody. What's up, Nick? Do you support Trump?
Yeah.
All right. How old are you?
I'm 18.
What year were you born in?
2007.
2007. What month?
January 14th.
All right. So you are 18. And why the hell do you support the worst president of your life, Donald J. Trump?
So you really think he's like the worst president out of every single president?
Yeah, out of every single president in our lives, 110%. Yep.
Okay, so I just had a couple opinions on like the protests and stuff that are going on. Do you like support them?
Well, I'm asking you why you support Trump.
Why I support Trump?
Right. That's the question on top of my head.
Okay, so, well, originally I'm Republican because of my parents, but I don't really let that dictate my decision. But I think that he's doing a lot good with the economy. And I know, like, I watch you and you're going to say, you know, all this stuff. And I've been hearing a lot of people say Obama is like the reason why the economy was so good. But, you know,
so your claim is that it's good for the economy. All right, sir. What is your favorite Donald Trump economic policy? Let's hear it.
I don't know. I mean, I'm not into it that far, but.
Oh, then why do you think he's good for the economy, man? Let's hear it.
I mean, because like the taxes, I mean, how it's been like recently, like you can just tell.
Oh,
like,
the taxes? I have a question. How did you like Biden and Harris's tax code in the last 4 years?
How do I like it?
Yeah. Were you a fan?
No, why would I be a fan? It was high.
You were getting taxed too much. Wait. I thought their tax
and
policy.
You're gonna say it's Donald Tax's tax policy, aren't you?
There you go. You dunked on yourself. Thank you so much for dog walking yourself, man.
Okay, but why is it so much better now than it was back then?
It's actually no different than it was. What?
But why is it? Can you not?
Also, what do you mean it's better now? Like tax season from like 2024, like just passed. Like, are you saying? What do you mean better now than when? Like, are you
saying like?
Wait, explain it. Wait, like, are you saying that like you're actively paying less in taxes? They haven't even passed any new tax policy. What the fuck are you saying?
I'm talking about just in like gas and stuff. Why is it so much more cheaper now than it was, 4 years ago?
Because of COVID?
You think COVID?
Yeah, do I think COVID made gas more expensive 4 years ago by disrupting global supply chains, shutting down a lot of refineries in America and abroad, reducing overall global production? Absolutely. What? Yeah.
Okay. I mean, you know more than me. This is just like an opinion-based thing. I'm kind of.
So, I mean, do you have like any like legitimate arguments here?
I just kind of wanted your opinion on like the protests.
Okay.
That were happening.
All right. Well, yeah. W protest, bro. Protest the king. That's great. We're gonna move on to the next guest because that guy doesn't seem to have much of an argument. So, we're gonna get that next guest up in the box right now, everybody. We got Mike loading in as we speak. So, everybody, if you would just give us a minute here to get that next guest loaded in, that would be phenomenal. What's going on? Do you support Trump? Do you support Trump? Dude was sleeping. Dude was sleeping. Oh my God. Yo, Michelle, thank you so much for the $50 over on PayPal. Jesus, Michelle. Show some love to Michelle down below in that comment section. Let's get 500 Michelle W's down below. Now, Michelle says, the last guest was correct about the mods coming on live and cosplaying as Republicans to talk crap about you and Parker. What? One kept playing a screen recording of you saying something out of context. Their live was discontinued. This was very early in the morning. One said that you would never find their live so they could get away with saying the things that they did. One of them was homophobic. What the fuck? Okay. Well, now we're hearing it from two people. Okay. All right. Well, thank you, Michelle, and thank you, Shay, earlier. I have a lot to look into tonight. What's going on, Zach? Do you support Trump? Zach's not here either. That's great. Goodbye, Zach. Just looking for Trump supporters to come up here and have a debate with me. All right, everybody. We're going to go to get that next guest up here. We got LJ loading in, y'all. We got LJ loading in. What a day. What a day, man. What's going on? Do you support Trump, LJ?
Sorry for not following the rules, but I love you, Dean.
Yeah, I appreciate that, man. I appreciate that, man. Okay, guys, please. If you are in the queue, make sure that you're at least 18 years old. Make sure that you're from America. And make sure that you're ready and willing to have a conversation with me about why you support Trump. I'd also like to quickly thank Claire. Thank you for the $10 over on Venmo saying teacher mom here. Thank you for your work. I appreciate that, Claire. Riley with the $15 for kicking that ableist piece of shit. Yeah, that guy sucked. Thank you for the $15, Riley. Lovey, thank you for the $20. And Katniss with the 5. I appreciate that. What's going on, this girl? Do you support Trump? Okay, what is going on with the droids in my guest request? So, like, hello? Like, are you there? No, I guess they're not there. So we're gonna move on to the next guest, everyone. If you wouldn't mind just giving us a minute, that would be fan-fucking-tastic. Oh, dear Lord. Give us a minute to get that next guest loaded into the live stream right now. We are really just trying to find one person that's willing to, like, open their mouth. Like, I don't know. People are coming up here. They're just not even speaking, bro. Unreal. Okay. All right. We're still trying to get that next guest. I swear to God we are. If you're a part of the 1,100 people tuning in, guys, make sure that you're double tapping, sharing out that live with a handful of friends. Yo, Katie with the $5 over on Venmo saying, hit me up for new mod. Thank you for the $5, Katie. What's going on, Border Nash? You Maga, you support Trump? Okay, he's also not here, dude. Where are these droids coming from? Like, I guess we're just stage fright is going nuts right now. Like, these people just don't even want to chat, man. Like, I feel almost left out. What's going on, Nathan? You support Trump?
Hey, what's up, Dean?
What's going on? Yeah, you MAGA?
I'm not.
Okay.
Actually.
All right. Well, I'll see you later, Nathan, because we're just looking for Trump supporters. Moving on. Okay. Who's next? Quite frankly, who will it be? Who's next? We're going to go to get that next guest up in here right now, y'all. We got T loading in. Just looking for MAGA. Holy cow. Please trust that. What's going on, T? Do you support Trump?
I want to know if it's acceptable for me to represent my mom who supports Trump.
If you had your mom with you, it would be. But if it's just kind of like going back and forth in between you, unfortunately not. But, if you happen to ever get, your mom on the line, you're with her, and you want to have her come up and have a chat, feel free to re-request. Hey, Alania, thank you for the $50 over on YouTube Super Chat. 500 Alania W's down below. Alania says, I was with two friends. They started talking about the Cuban Missile Crisis. I mentioned the U.S. is in close war with Iran, and they said it would be on the news if it were serious. I showed them articles from the Times, CNN, etc. They didn't care and ignored. They're crazy, Alania. I don't even know what to tell you. Thank you for the $50. I'm so sorry that you have to experience that mental brain rot. What is going on, Franco? Do you support Trump?
Oh, yeah, I do, but I'm not from the U.S.
All right. Well, unfortunately, we're going to kick you for violating the rules. Okay. All right. We're going to go to do something fun to try to get somebody up here. for all the liberals watching, go ahead and stop commenting. If you are an American adult that supports Trump and you want to come up here and have a conversation with me, let me know in the chat. We'll bring you up. Okay, let me know in the chat. We'll bring you up. All right. I would really appreciate it if you would only let me know if you want to come up, all right? Because quite frankly, this is a little crazy. Quite frankly, this is a little nuts, guys. This is a little nuts. All right. Looks like we got one person loading up. Apparently their dad wants to debate.
Okay. Oh, no, okay. So my dad's gonna come up here. No, my dad's gonna come up.
Sorry, they had an echo. I was about to say if they passed the phone to their dad right now, I would debate them, but they had a little bit of an echo. Sorry for kicking you out. You had a little bit of an echo. What's going on? Do you support Trump, Static?
Oh my, hello?
Hey, you support Trump?
I'm a diehard Trump supporter.
Yeah, you're trolling. Get out of here. Is there anybody that's not trolling? What's going on? Do you support Trump? Cool. Adam's just not here, guys. What is it? Are the Trump supporters just like finally done? Are the Trump supporters just like finally out? Are they kapooped? I don't know. What's going on, culture?
Are you only calling up Trump supporters, or are you calling up the oppositions to Trump too? I don't know.
We're just calling up Trump supporters. You support Trump?
Oh no, hell no, under no circumstances, and never will. But yeah, I'm gonna let.
Based the flag there in your profile picture, very very questionable. But we're gonna go ahead and move on to the next guest. Everyone, just give us a minute and whatnot. If you're watching and you're like, hey, this Dean guy's cool, and you want to support me, you can find my Venmo, my PayPal, and the link tree in my bio. I get 100% of the proceeds over on that platform, and I really do appreciate everybody that's been supporting greatly. You'll also get a notification at the top of my phone screen where I could read off your name, the amount, as well as any attached message on live. But yeah, let's go to move on to the next guest, everybody. We got them loading up as we speak. We got Yak Attack, hopefully joining the live also. See everybody down below in that comment section posting a name about a mod. I would appreciate it if you guys would stop doing that, just because I already have those resources available to me, and I kind of want to do research. If that makes any sense, before like we have like 10,000 people putting the pitchforks out. Okay, that person has an echo. Goodbye. What about you, Yak Attack? Are you here? Nope, they're not here. So we're going to move on to the next guest. Here we go. We got one Tesla loading up. Hello, one Tesla. Do you support Trump?
Yeah, I do. We talked last week. I don't know if you remember me, and I don't know if you let like double people come up, but I wanted to ask you about Iran.
Oh, I remember you. Chat, I just remember the name. Should I debate him again or not? We'll just do it based upon like public approval. Okay, it actually doesn't look like you're that popular, so I'm going to go ahead and kick you. Goodbye. What's going on, BNS? You support Trump?
Hello, yes I do.
Okay, all right. BNS, how old are you?
52, brother.
Well, thank you for being here, man. Well, let's have a good discussion. Now, before we do, I got a couple people to thank. Let's see here. First and foremost, Kaylin with the $4 over on Venmo. I appreciate that. And then Rin, thank you so much for the $50 donation over on Venmo. Rin, that is crazy work. Thank you so much, guys. Show some love to Rin down below in that comment section for the $50. Rin says, you inspire and amaze me with your patience and grace with the people that you talk with. Not all heroes wear capes. Keep up the good fight for the right side of history. Rin, that is so fucking kind of you. All the love in the world to you, Rin. In fact, if we could please have the people watching to spam some W-Rins down below in that chat, that would be so incredibly kind. I'd also like to thank Tasha for the $20 over on PayPal. Shout out to Tasha and Rin, you guys. Please, please, please show Tasha and Rin some love. And take it away, BNS. Tell us why you support the man, the myth, the failure, Donald J. Trump.
I tell you what, man, I'm not a real political person here, but I'm going to tell you why I voted. And this fella here, I'm not going to say he's a good guy or a bad guy at this point, but I needed somebody at the face of this nation that scared other countries and scared other people.
Yeah, who does he seem to be scaring? Honestly, like if like the point is he's supposed to be scary to reduce global conflict. We've only seen an increase in all global conflict since his inauguration.
You know, you're right about that. When I made my first decision, about why I wanted to go with him being 100% a businessman. Is he a good businessman? Is he a bad businessman? I don't want to get into that, but I wanted somebody at the face of the country that people were worried about, that people were scared of, that people weren't going to mess with. And has that been happened or been positive? You're going to tell me probably right now, hell no. But that's what I was looking at from being an older man and being where I'm at.
But
not being.
he's just, I feel like a bunch of world leaders have been taking advantage of him. Like, I think that Putin's taken advantage of him, been able to convince him that the U.S. shouldn't be able to give Ukraine money for humanitarian aid. So he stopped doing that, thinking that Putin might do a ceasefire agreement. But once he defunded Ukraine, Putin hasn't accepted a single ceasefire agreement. And now we have Trump saying that this isn't the Putin that he used to know. So Putin totally played him. Same thing with like Israel right now. You know, Israel's totally taking advantage of like Trump in America to like help them in their aggression against Iran. And I mean, shit, Trump and everybody else seems to be bending the knee as always. So, yeah, I'm not quite sure that everybody else is scared of Trump. I think that most of the world is laughing at him, honestly, laughing at how terrible of a leader he is. And then in the ways that they may be scared of him, it's in the ways that he's just unpredictable and crazy, right? But that's not like that's not like strength through like holding a big stick or through peace. That's like scaring other people by being insane. And that's definitely not productive. Like, that's not going to like introduce a higher likelihood of like better global relations through diplomatic like know-how or agreements or whatnot. It's just going to kind of keep people quiet because he's so crazy, but it's not really going to progress us anymore. And honestly, I guess people haven't really been keeping quiet. Global conflicts have only gotten worse since his inauguration, and now we might even go back into war in the Middle East. So, yeah.
You think that maybe that might be a learned behavior too, if you're on his side like I am, that he may learn a lot. He's still learning a lot. He may turn around and do a lot better and not, you get what I'm saying, go more of a positive direction. As he learned, I mean, he's like being in office for the 4 years and how long he's been there now. I still think he's got a lot of learning to do. And yes, you're right. I don't think it's scary in a bad way here recently, in my opinion, when I'm watching.
Okay. Yeah, man, well, I appreciate you for insight. I'm going to go to move on to the next guest because it doesn't really sound like you responded to much there. More so just like I hope that he does well. Listen, man, I agree with you. I hope that... Uh-oh.
Iran and strike nuclear sites according to the Wall Street Journal, but the holdup, there's no final approval just yet. He's waiting to see whether or not Iran will.
Yo, thank you for the future city. I appreciate that. Thank you so much, Dan. It's good to have you in here with us again today. Thank you for the future city. But everybody, we have some bad news. Holy shit. Looks like the Trump administration has approved the plan to strike Iran, but the final approval is on hold. So the strike hasn't happened yet. There's one final approval that needs to happen. Okay. Yeah, I mean, it looks like the U.S. there's a real possibility that the U.S. could be going into war. There's a real possibility.
We have breaking news right now. Donald Trump is now becoming increasingly comfortable with striking Iran, specifically the Fordo nuclear facility in Iran. According to ABC News, preparations are being taken now to possibly launch this strike, which would drag the United States into a conflict with Iran. Now, this wouldn't be one strike on the Fordo facility. This would take multiple strikes to destroy the nuclear facility. And according to ABC News, at this hour, he is becoming more comfortable with launching this strike. As I told you earlier,
So this is from 13 minutes ago. Okay, the timeline is moving pretty quickly here. That's worrying. We might even see something tonight. So an hour ago, Aaron reported that the U.S. finally approved the plan, waiting on Donald Trump's final approval. And then 13 minutes ago, Aaron reported that he's becoming increasingly comfortable with approving that plan. We could see war between America and Iran before we go to bed. That is a very, 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 very real possibility. And Dan's, man, appreciate you for all the subscriptions. So Yeah, seriously, Dance, thank you so much. I'm sorry if I'm not being extra exciting. This is breaking news, everybody. So, the next 24 hours, I would say that there's a very high likelihood that, we go into war with Iran in the next 24 hours. Yeah, that's terrifying. Okay. All right. Well, I'm sure that we'll be covering that more. As I'm gonna keep my news open over here. If anything happens, I'll be the first to know. And I'll make sure I report it to you guys, as well as I'll throw a video up about it. If you want to make sure that you're staying up to date with exactly what is happening and when, feel free to follow me on Instagram. I have a channel on there called Updates. If you join that update channel, you'll get a notification when I post any new videos related to this. I'd highly recommend that you do that if you want to keep up to date. I mean, my eyes are going to be glued to my phone screen until I go to bed. And honestly, I'll probably even be up late, just waiting to see, that America has officially struck Iran's underground nuclear facilities. So, yeah, what's up, Parker?
What's up? I literally just heard you say that, and I was looking it up right now. That's fucking crazy. I just hopped on.
Yeah, we're really close. We are very, very, very close here. All right. Well, we're gonna go to get that next Trump supporter up here. So everybody, give us a minute while we do. That would be great. Very scary updates right there, folks. Very scary updates right there, everybody. Yeah, man. Terrible, terrible, terrible. What is going on, Carson? Are you MAGA?
No, but I love you, Dean.
I appreciate that, Carson. We are just looking for debate, so I'm going to go and kick you and move on. Please respect the rules, everybody. Please respect the rules. Now, let's go and get the next guest up in the box. Everybody, if you're part of the 6.4 thousand people watching and you support Trump and you'd like to come up and chat, let me know down below. I'll get you pulled up. And, I'll probably hold off on posting another video until we see that strike go through or not. So, that's what I'll post. All right, everybody, let us know down below in that chat if you do want to come up here and join.
Dans, thank you for the future city. I appreciate it, Dans. Give me some W Dans in the comment section. Good to see you, man.
What's going on, Finn and Hobo? Do you guys support Trump?
Oh no, man, I'm sorry.
Okay, what about you, Hobo? Are you MAGA?
So I'm newly 18, and I'm trying to figure out.
Sorry, you said that nearly 18. Unfortunately, got to be 18 to be on live.
I don't know if they said newly, maybe.
Oh shit, they might have said that. Whoops. So, sorry, man. Sorry. What's going on, Ricky? Do you support Trump? Wow, look at all these great debates that we're having. Isn't that crazy?
How have your dates been today, man?
Honestly, pretty good. It's been a half decent day. It seems to be getting pretty bad right now, though. Kylie, thank you for the money again. What's up, Goober? Do you support Trump?
Yeah, bro. You're lame.
Okay. Real quick, could you turn off the background noise real quick before you run away?
What?
Could you turn off that background noise?
Remove tolerance effect.
What?
All right. Thank you so much for trying, buddy, but you did fail. So we're going to move on to the next guest. We got TB loading up. Here we go, y'all. Everyone, just give us a minute to try to get that next debate underway. What's going on, TB? Do you support Trump?
Why does Cookie mog you?
Oh no, is it going to be like this for a long time?
Unemployed.
Cookie mogs.
Great. Moving on to Joy, everyone. Just give us a minute. Really hard to find debates. The Trump supporters are running scared, basically. So, yeah. Thank you so much for the money again. What's going on, Joy? Are you MAGA?
Yes, sir.
Okay, how old are you?
I'm 21.
Great. Well, let's hop into debate. But before we do, Sid, I appreciate you so much for the $25 over on Venmo. Sid seems to be giving us the other side of the story as it related to the mods earlier. So once again, this is also unverified, but I want to report what we're hearing. Apparently, the other side of the story is that the mods were pretending to be MAGA, called me bald, and said I was paid by the DNC, and a random person who is not a mod joined the stream and said a slur and got kicked. So that's the other side of the story that we heard earlier. Once again, I will do some investigation later to see what the facts of the matter are. But anyways, Joy, take it away. Tell us why you support the worst president of your life, Donald J. Trump.
Well, he's not the worst president. That would be Obama. But okay.
What?
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah, Obama is significantly worse than Trump. Because he's not a rapist. He's not a felon. He hasn't violated the constitutional rights of people in this country. He hasn't advocated for economic reform to reduce the after-tax income for 80% of us. That makes him significantly worse. You're right.
Oh, nothing? Do you have anything you wanted to say in response to him?
No, I'm just trolling. I'm sorry, guys.
Okay.
Okay, please stop trolling, Joy. That goes for you and for everybody else that is in the queue. Even though you're not an American adult that supports Trump, you guys do really slow the stream down and do kind of like remove the reason why I do these live streams. And I understand that it doesn't really seem like much when it's just like you're one person that's coming up here to troll for 30 seconds. But I mean, you got to keep in mind that there's more than just one person doing this. It's like multiple. And like sometimes I could like waste like an hour of the stream on people that are trolling. And it creates like a really unproductive environment. So, I mean, if you like these lives and the productivity that they generate for conversation with individuals that politically disagree with me, please don't troll and please conform to the rules. But what's going on, Daniel? Do you support Trump?
Yes, I do.
Okay, how old are you?
I am 27.
All right, and do you have any Bluetooth device connected, like AirPods, headphones, etc.?
Yes, I'm using headphones.
Sweet. If you would remove that, your audio quality would be significantly better, and that'd be awesome.
Okay.
While he's doing that, everybody make sure that you're double tapping. Once again, if you want to support me, if you like the streams, if you're like, hey, this Dean guy's cool, you can find my Venmo, my PayPal, and the link tree in my bio over on TikTok, as well as in the pinned message over on the YouTube stream. But Daniel, go ahead and take it away, man. Tell us why you support Trump. Wow, Daniel.
Nothing.
Nothing at all. Nothing at all. Doing great, honestly. Like, these debates today are just, like, fucking sweet. Let me tell you, these debates today are just really killing it. Really killing it, everybody. Moving on to the next guest, Mr. Random. Let's go get him loaded up here. Oh, Jesus Christ, man. What's going on? Do you support Trump, Mr. Random?
I was on the fence, to be honest with you, for quite some time. I have, like, a specific question in regards to, like, excuse me. Excuse me, I apologize.
How old are you?
Do you feel... I'm 29.
Sweet. So when you say you're on the fence, what reason do you still have to not hop off the fence and run away from Trump?
Daniel, thank you.
Well, it's looking more and more like I definitely should. I'm a person of color, and I have, like, a specific question in regards to, like, maybe
Daniel.
possibly motivations for, like, Trump in regards to, like, and other congressmen and people that hold power in their, like, positions. Like, Trump is, I think, what is he, like 89, right?
He's old, but once again, my question is, what about Trump do you still find appealing?
Honestly, I'm not sure, to be honest with you. Like, at first, like, his first term was, like, I thought it was going to be beneficial to the economy, but, like, it's not. It's
I got an
definitely
idea.
not looking like
if
that.
you're kind of on the fence, but you're like unsure why, maybe like the better place for you to be is like to be listening to the stream compared to be debating on it. Honestly, I think that a lot of the educational value that these streams could give is for individuals like you. So yeah. We're gonna go to move on, but I appreciate you for coming out. As well as Dan,
Alright,
thank you so much for the leopard. I really appreciate you so much, Mr. Dan the man, back again today. Thank you so much for the leopard, bro. Incredibly kind of you. Asher, what's up, man? You support Trump?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah, how old are you?
18, just turned 18.
18. Sounds good. Tell us why you support the worst president of your life, the man, the myth, the failure, Donald J. Trump.
I'm pro-life, that's why.
Oh, okay. So you support anti-abortion policy. Now, why the hell are you pro-life? Why the hell should women not have the legal right to access abortion?
I don't think anybody should have the legal right to murder a human being.
Okay. All right. What's murder? Let's define that silly little term.
Ending a human's life.
Okay. Would this also like apply to victims of rape?
Yes.
Oh, okay. So if like a 10-year-old is raped and impregnated, she should have to go through that pregnancy. That's your view?
Yeah, my opinion is that the worst thing you can do is kill the child inside of the body.
Wait, what about in self-defense? Like, say it is the case that it would be necessary to save the pregnant individual's life. Should they be allowed to get an abortion in that scenario?
I'm going to use a Charlie Kirk line here and say just get a C-section.
Wait, prior to the point of viability.
Yeah, if they got to get the abortion now, or else they're gonna die. But the abortion's gonna kill the fetus. Are you okay with that?
Normally hospitals err on the side of saving the life of the mother.
I'm asking you.
Do you agree with the hospitals?
It's a very rare instance.
I'm asking you. You should be able to answer this very quickly.
Yeah, and then once you answer it quickly, I want to go back to your position on grape victims. I got an argument for you. So answer the question.
Yes, I agree with the hospital. That would be the only case if the mother will die if they cannot perform a C-section.
But that would then be murder under your definition, so you have to revise your definition, seemingly.
No, I'm going to keep my definition. I would just say that would be a justified murder.
So you just mean justified killing, not meaning it's not murder. But anyways, because murder is inherently unjustified. But I want to talk about your position relating to grape victims, and I'm gonna ask you this question with the use of hypothetical. So let's imagine that you make barely enough money to live, and you spend all of your money on the bare necessities to live, like food. Okay, and every single night somebody walks in through your front door that's unlocked and takes half of your food. You know that they're going to do this for 9 months, and it even like comes along with around like a 5% chance that at the end of the 9 months, you're going to starve to death, right? Now, you could prevent this person from stealing half of your food at night by simply locking your front door, okay? Because then they won't be able to come in. But you know if they can't come in and steal your food, they'll actually die from starvation. Should it be illegal for you to lock your front door at night?
No, because I would be responsible for their death.
So it shouldn't be illegal.
Hold up, wait, can you rephrase that? I got lost.
Should it be illegal or should it not be illegal for you to lock your front door at night and preventing that person from taking half of your food, even if it leads to their death?
It should be illegal for me to cause their death.
So you just think it, okay, all right, got it. So then you think,
okay, so then it should be illegal for you to cut food stamps, right?
I guess.
Oh, so then you disagree with Donald Trump's big, beautiful bill where he cuts food stamps by over $300 billion over the next 10 years?
Yeah, I don't agree with the bill.
Wait.
Go ahead.
So I just want to.
No, sorry, I don't agree with some parts of the bill.
So do you think that our government has a moral obligation to provide the bare necessities to live, such as food, shelter, and water, to everybody in America to prevent like unnecessary deaths?
Yes, I believe we have a moral responsibility to prevent as many deaths as possible.
Okay, under any circumstances.
Then he had a moral responsibility to vote for Kamala Harris because then there would have been less of a decrease of food stamps.
Right, so then you would have had a moral responsibility to vote for Kamala Harris.
Yeah, I didn't vote. I turned 18 like a week ago.
So then if you could vote right now, you would vote for Kamala Harris?
I would not, no.
I thought you would have an obligation to because there would be more food stamps funding.
Yeah, I'm not talking about food stamps.
Wait, why? Because that leads to death. Like, I don't know, man. Like, there's a lot of ways to frame this. Like let's just go over like the very famous violinist example. So, like, oh, actually, I don't even want to do the violinist example. You're getting raped. And the only way for you to stop the rapist from raping you is to kill them. Would it be justified for you to kill them?
In self-defense, yes.
Oh, okay. So it is justified to terminate another individual's life, granted that the only reason you're doing it is to stop an infringement upon your human rights?
Not an infringement of human rights. If my life is actively in danger.
So you know that you're not going to die by them raping you. You just know that you're being raped.
If I know that.
So you're being raped. You're not going to die. Okay, right? And you know that. In that circumstance, if the only way you could terminate the grape was to kill the rapist, would you be okay with it?
I mean, sorry, this is like a really weird scenario. I kind of got to think about it.
This happens every day.
Yeah, not to me. I'm not familiar with all this. So.
Okay, then just.
I would say that.
Replace you with somebody else. There's a 10-year-old there's a 10-year-old girl getting raped by an older man. Now, the 10-year-old girl will not die as a result of the grape, but the 10-year-old girl knows that she could stop the older man from graping her by killing him, and for some reason, she has the ability to kill him and end the grape. If she does do that, was she justified?
Yes, because she was being actively assaulted.
Okay, all right. So in other words, if the only way to prevent a human rights violation is to kill the individual committing the violation, then it is okay to kill the individual committing the violation, right?
No, because because you're saying.
So then why would it be justified for the 10-year-old girl to kill her assaulter? Because as far as I'm concerned, right, like the analytical justification there is that the rapist is infringing upon their human rights, causing them bodily harm, right? And the only way to end this infringement is to kill the infringer. It seemingly is just.
No.
Okay, so then why is it justified in that circumstance? If that's not the reason, then what is it?
Because they're being physically attacked and physically assaulted.
Okay.
They're not.
So they're having their rights violated, and there's bodily harm. Okay.
Yes.
Right. And
Bodily harm.
So if there's bodily harm and a violation of one's, if there's bodily harm and a violation of one's human rights, and the only way to end that infringement is to kill the infringer, it's justified to take them out, right?
Only if a life is in imminent danger.
But by imminent danger, do you mean like likely to die?
Like, if this so-called rapist or whatever, whenever you grape someone, there is like your life. Sorry, I'm trying to get the right words for this.
Do you mean like only if they could die by the rights infringement?
Yes, only if like their life will end, or that could end, or it will cause.
Okay, okay, so if there's a 5% chance that the rapist will kill the grape victim, is it okay for the grape victim to kill the rapist to stop the grape?
Yes, 100%.
Okay, all right. So if a grape victim is raped and gets pregnant, there's on average around a 5% chance that that pregnancy would kill the victim of grape, meaning under your view, it would be justified for that grape victim to turn around and abort the fetus, even if it kills a fetus.
No, not at all.
Okay, well, that's what you just conceded to. That is literally what you just conceded to. You just got dog walked.
Dog walked?
Yeah, that's what you just conceded to.
The fuck does dog walked mean?
It means you lost the debate.
For sure, bro. But like, no, because, again, have a C-section.
No. We're not going to move on. No. We're not going to move on. You just justified women's access to abortion because it's causing them bodily harm. It's an infringement upon their rights, and there's a 5% chance that it'll kill them.
Yeah, but you got to see it out.
Oh, okay. Why don't you say the same thing about the grape victim?
What do you mean? The same thing about the victim?
Because wouldn't the like equivalent answer be if there's a woman getting raped that she just have to see it out? If the only way to stop it is to kill the rapist?
No, no, because their life is in imminent danger. Again,
wait. But we agreed that the life of the rapist was in just as much danger as the grape victim that was pregnant, because the pregnancy has a 5% chance of killing the grape victim, just like the rapist has a 5% chance of killing the grape victim. So the lives would be in the same like likelihood of danger just denoting likelihood to end.
I'm sorry, you're speaking way too fast. What did you say?
Oh, of course you don't understand. Guys, for everybody watching, am I clear? Am I making sense? Because I mean, like as far as like I'm concerned, like I'm pretty sure that I'm making sense here.
I think you are.
Yeah, sorry. It's just you're speaking really fast and it's kind of hard to hear.
So what point do you need clarification on?
How like the difference between the grapist and I don't even know why we're saying grapist. The grapist and the fetus, like the difference between that. You're saying that a grapist has a 5% chance of killing the victim, and then that's supposed to be different than a fetus having a 5% chance of killing the mother?
Honestly, I don't really feel like going over it with this fucking pill brain guy again. Should we kick him, everybody?
I'm down.
I get dog walk, bro.
You learned that term from me. And you left. Phenomenal. All right, moving on to the next guest. Here we go, everybody. I'm also seeing a handful of people in the chat saying that Trump approved the strikes. I'm not seeing anything about that on any news outlet. What's going on? Do you support Trump?
Listen, I've been in here. Yes. Oh, wait, no. Okay, hold on. Just wait. I just turned.
I'm sorry, man. You don't support Trump, so we're going to kick you. What's going on? Do you support Trump?
My cat birthday today. I just want to tell you bye.
It's my cat's birthday.
One thing I did want to bring attention to was that Adriana Smith, the baby was taken out of her.
Yeah.
So again, in terms of her family forced against their will, against literally Adriana Smith's will in terms of their consent, right, and to use them, right, as the state decided, determining that like they're to use their body against their consent, and then just literally took the baby out of them today, which is incredibly fucking insane. I just wanted to bring attention to that again because I thought it was important to bring attention to.
Yeah, it wasn't. Yeah. What's going on, Michael? You support Trump?
Yeah.
How old are you?
18.
What year were you born in? is great. Why do we only have like young children coming up to join the live? Doesn't make much sense to me. Okay. All right, moving on to the next guest. Here we go, everybody. We're going to go to move on to the next guest, everybody. We got Chase Katz loading in. Fire Bully, thank you so much for the $20 over on YouTube Super Chat, saying pro-life until the good kid goes to school. SMH thoughts and prayers aren't enough. So real. I appreciate you so much for the love, Fire Bully. You know what? We should have asked that last guest would be if he would be okay with like incredible.
We're going to deport them all. We're going to deport them all.
Okay,
we are deporting them all.
Then name one good outcome of mass deportation for America. I bet you can't, meaning that you'll leave as soon as I'm done.
Name one what? Name one what?
Name one good
we're
outcome
making
of
America
mass
great
deportation
again.
on
That's
America.
what we're doing.
Sure. How does
Excuse me?
Name one
You
good
stop
outcome
talking
of mass
so fast.
deportation. I'm not talking fast. You're
Sorry,
listening
slow
slow.
down.
Name one good outcome of mass deportation on America.
It brings better jobs for our community in the USA.
Okay, it actually
by the way,
creates
you
less
have
job
no idea.
opportunity.
You have no idea. You have no idea what you're talking about.
It's a child, but I'm going to respond to that. It creates less job opportunity. Fun fact. We're going to move on to the next guest here, everybody. Still just looking for a single debate to be held. It's definitely been a little bit difficult. A little bit.
I have a few people to thank real quick. Amanda, thank you for the $15. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. I always see them. Don't worry. Thank you so much. Hannah, I appreciate the $1. And Iris, thank you for the $5. Thank you so much. I'm so sorry to hear that. Thank you so much. And then Hannah, I'm so sorry to hear that. I'm glad to see that like we can be like there for you. And Ariana, thank you so much for the $3. I really appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you so much. And then Daniel, just let me know if you want to say thank you. By the way, as always. But by the way, I can't bring you up. You'd have to ask Gene on that one. I appreciate you, though, man.
What's going on, Nick? Do you support Trump?
I'm on the fence.
Okay, so this means that there's like still like facts about Trump that you like.
One good fact was probably April 8th.
Okay, what happened on April 8th?
That's when the stock market went up, and then the next day it tanked again. Because my net worth literally doubled.
Okay, then it tanked again. So then your net worth went down.
No, it didn't, because we sold it the next day.
Oh, okay.
So we bought it in the
you
morning,
understand that the
sold it
stock
the
market,
next day.
the stock market crashes when we have a recession, and then it rebounds after we're done with the recession. Meaning that.
But you got to understand that Trump said something 2 hours before he paused the China tariffs on Truth Social.
They're trolling about. Yeah, I was a market manipulator. Right. We're gonna move on to the next guest.
Zachary, thank you for the $1, and then Liz, thank you for the $40 on Venmo. Thank you so much, Liz. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Yep.
So, Jake, you support Trump?
I'm kind of like, I wouldn't say on the fence, but like I prefer him more so than I did Kamala in the past election.
Sure. We'll talk about that. Before we do, I need to thank Adriana for the $15 over on Venmo. Thank you so much for the love. That is incredibly kind. And Adriana, as far as I'm concerned, the question that you're asking is just purely speculation, no fact to it. But thank you for the $15, Adriana, as well as Andrea with the $5. Thank you so much. Carly with the $7 and the 77 cents, saying I genuinely appreciate you for what you're doing. Thank you. As well as Haley, thank you so much for the $10 over on Venmo, saying thanks for sticking up for us as always. I really appreciate you for the love, Haley. That is so incredibly kind. Real quick. Oh my God, RUARI with another $300. Oh my gosh.
Jeez.
Dude, thank you so much for the love, RUARI. You are actually one of the very first donors of this stream. I remember you when the very first donations dropping $250 earlier today, RUARI. I really fucking appreciate you for your love. Seriously. So they say, because good debate shouldn't only come from think tanks with shady donors. You know, some independent debate talking about what's going on in the world is definitely a good thing for the world. And I really appreciate you for your kindness. Seriously, RUARI. If everybody could please show some love to RUARI down below in that chat. Literally right the fuck now while we're hopping into this next debate. That would be incredibly kind. Thank you. All the love to you. Now take it away, man. Why do you support the worst president of your life, the man, the myth, the failure, Donald Trump?
Well, I'd say in the past couple months, I've kind of backed off of him a little bit. But going into the 2024 election, I felt like he had a better immigration policy than Kamala did. I felt like his foreign policy.
Wait, have you backed off of him insofar as that you wouldn't vote for him if you could go back in time?
I didn't vote in the 2024 election. I'm 22. But if I could vote now, like if I could go back, I still probably wouldn't vote. I don't think that either candidate is particularly strong. I think the country is kind of lacking.
So you wouldn't vote?
No, not at all. I think if you ask me like what my biggest gripes are with Trump is that
no voice. Moving on. Yeah, no, I mean, if he's just saying that, like, he just straight up wouldn't vote, even now, you know, like, no vote, no voice. We're going to move on to the next guest. Everyone give us a minute to get that next guest up in the stream, guys. If you're watching and you're Maga and you'd like to come up and have a conversation, make sure that you're from America and at least 18. I will happily allow you to come up and talk to us, but please only join if you are Maga. Only join if you are Maga, everybody. What's going on? Making liberals cry daily. Are you going to make me cry, sir?
I don't want to, but I should probably.
Right. How old are you?
20.
And also, Dan, thank you so much for all the subs. Jesus, Dan, thank you. Huge shout out to Dan. I don't even know how many that was. Thank you so much for the love. All the love to you, Dan. As well as Caden. Thank you for the $10 over on Vim. I appreciate that. So take it away, Mr. Make Liberals Cry. Make me cry by beating us in a debate. Why do you support the man, myth, the failure? Donald J. Trump.
Majority of the people that voted for Harris are atheists, and I don't agree with atheism.
Oh, wait, I've talked to this guy.
Hi, Parker.
This is Anakin. I made fun of him for being
We didn't
Anakin.
finish our debate. I had a dip, so I'm sorry.
Majority of the people that voted for Kamala Harris are atheists. Well, I don't know if I'm willing to believe that. What's your data on that?
There is a source on that. You can look it up. It's I think Harvard did a study on it. A majority of the people that support.
What's the title?
I don't have my computer back in front of me, but I wish I could pull it up right now. But yes, if you look up the majority of the more philosophical outlook of the party that voted for, you can just say Democrats in general. Like you could literally just type in the Democrats and liberals, and it'll say 40% of the people that are Democrats and liberals are atheists.
40% is not a majority.
Wow, 40% is a very substantial amount. Would you not agree?
It is a very substantial amount, but just it's literally not a majority.
Yeah, but like, okay, so I mean, okay, sorry. I guess, yeah. So like a good substantial amount. Sorry.
You know, honestly, dude, man, here's the thing. I think that's great, okay, because I think that's awesome. You know, revival of intellectualism, right? But I don't understand why this would make you vote for Trump, because seemingly this means that Trump can kind of do whatever the hell he wants. Let me ask you this question. Who do you think would have led to better material outcomes in America and in the world? Kamala Harris or Donald Trump?
Donald Trump.
Okay, so let's talk about that, because I don't think like the split
That's a party
of
to it,
voters
though.
for Kamala Harris
This is an
tells
interesting
anything about the
argument.
material outcomes of the presidency, or the policy in which they'd implement. So why do you
Yeah.
think that Donald Trump is yielding good material outcomes for America?
Okay, so let me just not let you glaze over the fact that I just said what I said, and then you just want to say that it doesn't mean anything just because they're two separate things. Two things can be separate and still hold true at the same time. So yes, the reasoning of why that I think of that my political opinion, right, whenever I'm making my decisions, is that majority of the Democratic Party and the Liberal Party is atheist. Therefore, I can take their philosophical views, then take their reasoning behind them, and dictate whether or not they are like, you know, intellectual human beings with correct moral reasoning. And therefore,
can't do
whoever
that
they
based
support-
upon them being
I'm
an
not done.
atheist.
W interruption. Hold on.
Dude,
Let me
you've
back you up,
already
Parker.
made this argument to me. What do you mean?
Yeah.
I already know what argument you're giving.
We didn't finish it though. I have to walk through. I have to walk Dean through it.
So if I just want to clarify, if you knew that Kamala Harris would lead to better material outcomes in America, would you still have voted for Trump, since 40% of Democrats are atheists?
It would still be a very good important factor for me to include that instead of my vote.
So then what would your response be? If you knew that Kamala Harris would lead to better material outcomes now and in the future, yet 40% of Dems are atheists, who do you have voted for?
See, the material out. It's dependent on the material outcomes themselves. So like I can say that she believes. Yeah. Do you see what I'm saying?
Right. So do you see why earlier I shifted the conversation away from what percentage of Dems are atheists to rather who's going to lead to the better material outcomes? Because ultimately that's what it hinges on who you
Well, it's a
think
culmination
will
of
lead to
both.
better material outcomes, right?
Can I also make a point that like the data does not indicate that like a majority of Democrats even or people who voted for Kamala Harris were not religious.
Right.
I'll
but
send it to you. Just
I mean, you said that your source didn't even say it was a majority, so you don't need to send it to
it's
us.
like 40 to 45%.
24% on Baptist News.
Right, but like
I
45%
don't
isn't
know
a
about
majority. I just don't know math, please. So yeah, once again, why do you think that Donald Trump is going to lead to good material outcomes in America? What's he doing that you like?
The immigration policy.
Oh, like mass deportation?
I think the way that he's doing it could be reformed, but the way that he's doing it is definitely way better than what Kamala Harris would be doing.
Isn't like mass deportation like strictly anti-Christian?
No.
Dan, thank you so much for the leopard. I really appreciate you so much for the love. I really appreciate that. Thank you so much. I I usually don't talk about this because we could just evaluate the material outcomes of mass deportation. It's terrible for America. But I mean, you came up here arguing like the Christian perspective, Christian verse.
But yeah, I mean, even if he has this point, he still doesn't have that just because they're atheists means that like even if most Democrats are atheists, that is not a good reason to vote for a Republican.
Parker,
so Leviticus,
let me ask you,
Leviticus,
hold on.
no. Leviticus 19:33 through 34.
Old Testament. All right, cool.
When a foreigner resides among you in your land, don't mistreat them. The foreigner residing among you must be treated as your native born.
Do you have the contextual evidence to say that it's a legal foreigner?
What?
No, you don't, right?
What question did you ask?
I mean, when we're talking about deportations, right? It's illegal, or sorry, undocumented.
If it doesn't specify, why do you think one way or the other way? Why wouldn't you apply it to all foreigners?
It's because that's a grotesque oversimplification of a very intelligent.
I think you're the one that's specifically just liking to cherry pick which foreigners you apply this to, when Jesus would call you to apply it to all foreigners.
Parker, that's
just
what
foreigner in general.
Yeah.
What's up?
So are you asking me for like the contextual evidence to demonstrate that this is also including like undocumented immigrants?
Well, if you're going to argue that it's like
quote-unquote
anti-Christian, then please give me the contextual evidence that it's held in the same regard as this hypothetical.
Yeah, for sure, because it just says foreigner, right? The contextual evidence that it would include foreigners without a legal status is that for it to exclude foreigners without a legal status, then it would not be the total category of all foreigners, right? However,
so I guess
verse
like
it says
foreign exchange students aren't here legally,
right? And then this would include all foreigners.
So foreign exchange students aren't here in America legally.
What?
Under that view, that would mean that.
What do you?
So
think
like you said apply it to all foreigners. I should apply it to all foreigners. So I guess foreign exchange students that are here legally are not here legally.
What are you saying? No,
I
you're
don't
saying
understand what he's saying.
No. The actual interpretation would be that you treat native-born citizens the same as you treat any foreigner, which would include undocumented immigrants, meaning that you treat undocumented immigrants in the same way that you treat U.S. citizens.
Right.
That's actually what Jesus is calling, or God is calling for you to like specifically support here. Right. That's not what That's the interpretation you have of it is incredibly weird.
But like once again, you can't hold on to that interpretation because if this interpretation that you're like giving us here, right, to only be speaking about legal foreigners, well, this would mean that it would be excluding undocumented foreigners. And the reason why we cannot assume that exclusion is because the text doesn't imply that exclusion, and instead the text would imply the inclusion of all foreigners based upon the fact that they say all foreigners. And for that reason, your interpretation has no standing without evidence. The more likely interpretation would be the one that I granted to you. So for that reason, mass deportation would be anti-Christian.
Well, if you want to quote Bible, I'm going to quote Bible right back at you. So whenever Edomites came into the side of the land of Israel, all right, there was a very profound contextual evidence inside of the Bible that said, "Let my people go." And what happened? The people were gone. So I guess that was just a big mass deportation under your worldview.
So you're saying that the Bible deported Edomites from Israel?
Yeah, but like it was a good thing though, right?
Well, also in the Bible, God says to Saul and his men to slaughter the men, women, children, and infants of Amalek. So should we just be able to like slaughter whoever we want in this country? No, that's a ridiculous assertion. Just because in some context of the Bible, specifically certain things occur, doesn't mean that it is the case that that's what you'd want to prescribe now.
I'm so
and also,
glad you
it
just
doesn't
made my
mean
point for me,
it also
Parker.
doesn't mean that God particularly was prescribing that you shouldn't treat people right the same if they're native born comparative to being foreign.
I'm so glad you just made that point for me, Parker, because you cannot just cherry pick off of certain things, right? So I can think intuitively with certain situations inside of the Bible and therefore make that inference. Thank you, Parker, for making my own point for me.
Wait, if you're saying that, then your own moral intuitions aren't specifically from the Bible or from your religion. They're from you as a person.
Yeah, whenever you interpret the Bible, right, you interpret it the way that you interpret the Bible.
Okay, well then I can interpret the Bible to mean whatever the hell I want, right? I can interpret the Bible specifically to mean that, gay intercourse isn't wrong, that, premarital sex isn't wrong.
And some denominations of Christianity do, Parker.
Thank you so much for the leopard. Thank you so much. Really appreciate it. Thank you. But are you saying they're just as justified as you?
I think in my own personal subjective interpretation of the Bible, I am the most just inside of my own.
Wait, no. Why are they not? Are they just as justified as you in terms of the likelihood of it being true? Oh, okay. So again, a progressive Christian that takes the view that sex before marriage isn't wrong and gay intercourse isn't wrong, they're just as valid in their particular interpretation of Scripture as making libs cry right here.
Wait.
Objectively,
wait.
What's wrong with that, Parker?
Wait. Question.
Can't believe in gay sex. Wait, what?
Question. Why is heresy invalid?
Sorry, what?
Why is there's heretical views, right? Like the denial of the Nicene Creed, the denial of the Trinity. Okay, why is that invalid? Because if you're basically saying that all interpretations are just invalid, okay, well, I mean, that's going to be an interpretation leading to the denial of the council.
I didn't say they were all invalid.
The exclusion of
No, he said they're all the same level of validity.
Yes, that's what I said, Dean.
Okay, so would you say that heretical views denying the Trinity are also valid?
Yep, same level of validity.
Subjectively, yes, they're valid.
No, he said objectively. Just like 30 seconds ago.
Wait. So you're telling me that you could deny the Trinity and be just as good of a Christian as you?
Are you new
you're
to
a heretic.
No,
you're new. You're new.
You don't know the definition of religion. It's a culmination of people with a subjective interpretation of a religious doctrine. That's exactly what religion is.
So
Parker,
wait. So actually, I subjectively
can I talk real quick? I just really want to be able to get this out. What you're saying here is not true. If you knew anything about church faith,
you can call it not true. Okay. Give me evidence why it's not.
Well, I mean, I was in the middle of speaking and then you interrupted me while I was giving you the evidence.
Yeah, but I don't go oh, you're completely false. I just explain why you're false. It just makes you look bad.
Okay, so I'm telling you that you're wrong and I'm making the explanation. How does that make me look bad?
Because you're exclaiming the fact that I look wrong rather than just explaining it and getting to the point. That's
I think saying that your point is wrong and explaining why your point is wrong is definitely something that does not make me look bad. I don't know why you'd hold on to that interpretation.
It's just kind of bad faith behavior.
Okay, why is it bad faith for me to say that you're wrong and explain why?
Because I don't waste time trying to explain a point to you. I just explain the point to you.
Wait, so you think that it's just me trying to waste time to say 3 words that you're wrong? I'm confused on what the view is here. So what do you think it means to be bad faith?
No, just continue. I'll concede on that. Just continue.
Right. All right. So anyways, you said that you could engage in heresy and be just as valid of a Christian as any other Christian in any other denomination with any other beliefs. So this just simply isn't a view held by the church. I mean, if you knew anything about the historicity of the church, then I mean, you would know about the exclusion of heresy, going back to the Arians prior to the Nicene Council that denied the different modes of God or the Trinity as a whole, which served as the purpose for the Nicene Council to kind of come to some concrete determination of who God is, what God represents, and how that's demonstrated through the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit.
Yeah, but even you don't believe
and the
that.
reason why certain views are considered heretical is because they can deny core teachings of the church. And basically the way that the church operates in modern day is that as long as you accept some core teachings, you can be off base with a handful of things, but you're still considered within the church. But as soon as you deny the core teachings, definitely including the Council of Nicaea, you are no longer operating within the church. And now you're engaging in heresy and you're no longer Christian. Right? So if we were to look at a tier list of what beliefs are necessary for the faith and which ones are questionable and which ones are heretic, right? In the group of the necessary beliefs, you can't just simply uphold a different interpretation of them. You can't interpret that modalism is true, that God presents themselves to us in different forms, because that's heretical, that's in denial of the scripture, and it denies the Nicene Creed. Okay? You can't interpret that the Trinity isn't true either. Right? Because that's going to be a core Christian value, and which is held true in all true churches, because it's a denial of the scripture. Right? I mean, and also when you ask why is that, it depends on who you're asking. Because if you ask a Catholic that question, why is it that you can't deny the Nicene Creed? They'll tell you because of the normative authority of the magisterium, meaning that the church fathers that were involved in the Council of Nicaea were infallible, right? And were inspired by the Holy Spirit. So in denying what they say, you're denying the infallibility of the Holy Spirit because of the normative authority of the magisterium. But if you ask somebody that pertains to a reform movement that upholds sola scriptura, I mean, they're just going to tell you, well, because the Council of Nicaea is just simply mirroring scripture. So in denial of the Council of Nicaea, you're denying scripture.
Okay, I fully understand that, Dean, but all you have just said from the past like 2 minutes of you talking about a bunch of nonsense was literally just saying just because I deny whatever they deny means I have to inherently deny Scripture, and I'm telling you that Scripture is internalized and interpreted. So therefore, if I say that Scripture is internalized and interpreted, I can make that.
Dance with the lion! Dan!
Holy shit, that's
Can we
crazy.
get some W Dans in the chat with the lion? Thank you so much, Dans.
Dude, W Dan for the lion.
Wait, so then his view is also that the Gnostic interpretation of Scripture is just as valid as his interpretation.
Right, yeah.
That God is
yeah.
actually the devil, right? And he's actually trying to get you to follow him because he's trying to like
subjectively reject
he's
that,
he's trying to get your soul.
Oh, for sure.
Harvest.
Oh, for sure. Oh, for sure. Like now we get to go into like the crazy heresies. Like what is it? Universal Gnosticism, which is technically an interpretation of Christianity where all gods exist, all are just as valid, but at the end of the day, we should be good moral people for those around us. Like technically, you'd have to say that that's just as valid as your own beliefs, as well as like all like the billion other heresies. Like I'm gonna go ahead and pull up some of these billion heresies.
Can I ask you? Can I ask you a question while you're pulling that up? So you believe murder is objectively wrong, correct?
Well, I'm agnostic on metaethics, so I don't know if murder is objectively wrong or subjectively wrong, but it looks like I have them up here. So, like, for instance, do you know who...
New view Dean dropped.
Yeah, I'm agnostic on my metaethical view. Do you know who the Oneida is? Do you know who the Oneidas are?
Sorry, I'm not a savant.
I think it's the Oneidas. It's Oneida. Feel free to look this up after you leave the live. Oneida. So the Oneidas are a heretical branch of Christianity that any Christian with a brain should say aren't a part of their church. Okay? But Dan, thank you so much for the live. Oh, that's crazy. Thank you so much for the love. Thank you so much for the lion, Dan. That's fucking nuts, dude. Show some love to Dan in that chat for the lion, bro. Holy fuck. Thank you, Dan. Damn. Dan, you're the man. Thank you so much for the lion. That is seriously so incredibly kind of you. Shout out, Dan. I'm going to get back to what I was saying. So the Oneidas are a heretical branch of Christianity. They don't really exist anymore. They kind of fizzled out over time. But the reason that they're considered a heretical branch of Christianity is the way that they think they should worship. Okay, the way they think they should worship God based upon their interpretation of the faith is to have sex with one another. And particularly what they would do is they'd have the old men have sex with the young girls and the young boys have sex with the old women. And this was literally their interpretation of how to worship the Christian God. I'm being dead serious. I'm giving you the facts. Please, anybody listening, feel free to look it up. It's called the Oneidas, Oneida. It's super insane. But basically, would you say that the interpretation of the Oneidas is just as valid as your interpretation?
Subjectively, no. Like, well, why is it wrong for me to say that? Why is it wrong for me to subjectively internalize that some other...
Wait, objectively.
Objectively. It's like,
dude.
I'm not God though.
Just
like, the reason why I asked you that.
dude.
No, Dean. The reason why I asked you that,
dude, that's rough, man.
The Oneidas got him. The Oneidas got him.
You didn't even say no. You didn't even say no. I literally asked you point blank if you thought murder was objectively wrong, and you said I'm agnostic, so I don't know.
Wait, I can give you my answer. Okay, so I believe it's subjective, but like when we're referencing this, there's a difference between a moral truth in terms of a description of my psychological preference and a description of reality. And what you're talking about is a description of reality. You're saying a description of reality is subjectively true.
Why are we moving on from the Oneidas? This guy just said that it is just as valid for old men to fuck young girls.
I did not say
to worship God as it is for you to worship God as it relates to your interpretation of the Scripture. So then what was the answer? Are the Oneidas just as valid as you objectively or not?
Objectively? Like, I'm not God. I can't make those decisions. Like,
you can't. Wait, so you can't tell us. Dude. You can't tell us that the Oneidas were wrong.
I can. Subjectively, they are wrong.
Objectively. Is it the case, objectively, that they were wrong?
Okay, I think we might be getting a little confused on our terms and definitions of objectivity. So please explain to me what you mean by objectivity.
Yeah, stance independently, relating to what is actually true, stance independently of the Christian faith.
Then yeah, no. If that's your definition of objective, no. I hold objectivity to like. Yeah, I don't believe they're right. I don't.
I had to kick him.
That's
Dan, thank you for the second lion. Holy shit, dude. Dude, Dan coming in swinging with the 2 lions. My God. Okay, Dan, I really appreciate you for the god diddly damn 2 lions. Oh my God. That is so kind of you. Show some love to Dan down below in that chat, everybody. That is incredibly kind. 3 lions, actually. No, that's right. 3 fucking lions. Thank you so much. Show some love to Dan down below. That is so incredibly kind. Dude, oh my God. I don't even know what to say. That is incredibly kind. Thank you, Dan. You know what? Those lions are so loud. I have people in the YouTube chat saying, turn it down a little. In fact,
you know what? A few people in my YouTube chat said the same thing. That was kind of funny.
Yeah. No, but seriously, Dan, thank you so much for the love. Now, I did kick. Okay. For everybody listening in, I did kick that last guess. And here's what I'll say to that last guess. Please research Christian theology and history of the church. Dan, thank you so much for the Future City, man. You're awesome. Please research history of the church. Please research Christian heresy. And honestly, I have a good YouTube channel for you. Now, keep in mind, this guy is a little bit of a nut job. He he's like what? He's like an evangelical Presbyterian. He holds some crazy views. He really hates like the liberalism of the church. But there's some educational content that might be good for that last guess. He's Redeemed Zoomer on YouTube. Go look him up and specifically research his videos relating to the history of the church, heresy, and what qualifies an individual as a Christian or non-Christian. Please go do that for the sake of your own faith, man. But yeah. All right. That conversation is over now. Dan, thank you so much for the love. Now, by the way, I've been looking for any updates about what's going on with Iran and our involvement. It looks like Trump hasn't approved the strikes quite yet. And it is time for me to end the live. Holy shit, it's already been 4 hours. Wow, dude, time flies when you're having fun, am I right? Time flies when you're having fun, am I right? But here's what I will ask every single one of you to do. Here's what I'm going to ask every single one of y'all to do. If you want to stay in the loop, okay, if you want a notification at the top of your phone screen, the moment anything happens related to Iran, the moment Donald Trump decides to strike him or not. Sorry, I saw something. I thought it was something else. Please go follow me on Instagram. My handle on Instagram is Dean Withers. Okay, just look up Dean Withers. You'll find it. 1.6 million followers over there, which is crazy. Guys, we've actually been gaining anywhere from 50,000 to 70,000 followers a day on the Instagram. So holy fuck.
That's crazy.
But go follow my Instagram and particularly join the updates channel. You can see the updates channel right there. Join the updates channel. Once you're in the updates channel, this is what you'll see. Just make sure that you accept it. Right now we have 28,000 people in there. Hopefully maybe if 10,000 of the people watching go and join, we'll be up to like 40,000 or so. Please go join that, because if you join that, you'll get a notification the moment I post a video or anything like that about what's going on with Iran. So yeah, I'd heavily suggest that you do that. That'll be good. But yeah, no, guys, I am going to go and end the stream for the night. And Courtney, thank you for the $10 over on Venmo, and you're welcome. I won't read that out loud. Katie with a 5, Taryn with a 5, as well as Kristen. Thank you so much for the 10. I really appreciate everyone so much for the love. It's been a great day. Honestly, today really did fly by. I'm not going to lie. Today flew by a whole lot faster than most do. Crazy work that it's already been 4 hours. I love what I do, guys. Let me tell you that. I fucking love what I do. I love my job. I love it so much. I love being able to come on live every single day for 4 hours and do these debates. I love being able to keep you guys informed. I am so happy that I found my calling at such a young age. It is not frequently that you'll find what you want to do for the rest of your life at 20 years old. And you guys have allowed me to find that. And you guys have honestly allowed me to use this as a way to even support myself, which is huge, because that means it becomes like the center focus of one of the center focuses of my life. You know what I mean? So I love you all. You guys are so incredibly kind. Thank you so much for following along. And I'll see you tomorrow with another 4-hour debate. And very seriously, make sure to go join the updates channel over on the Instagram if you want to keep up with what's going on. Now, two people I'd like to thank here. Jade, thank you for the $20 over on PayPal saying you're moving mountains. Huge love from the UK. I appreciate that, Jade. As well as Caitlin with the $10 saying thank you for educating. Thank you so much, Caitlin. And Parker, do you want to go live? I could shoot you a raid.
Yeah, I am, man. It was good seeing you, man. You can you come through at any point in the live, man. Hope you had hope you have a good night, man.
Yeah, bro, you as well. I might end up pulling through. I don't know. It's been 4 hours, but I don't feel tired. Honestly, I don't really.
I know
feel
that's
like...
what I noticed with you today. I was like, you don't feel like tired like you typically do.
No, dude, I feel good. I mean, it's just probably time to go get food and yeah. But anyways, I'm gonna go to an end. If you guys want to continue to listen to debates, Parker down here is gonna go ahead and pick up the torch and carry it on over at Parker Get a Job on TikTok and at Parker Get a Job on YouTube. So make sure to go show him some love, send him the Dean raid. And even though he's already in the live right now, when you do join his live, just spam Dean raid in the chat. It'll help send the live out on that For You page. But all right, everybody. Once again, last PSA. Join the updates channel on my Instagram. Follow me on Instagram at Dean Withers and join the update and join the updates channel if you want a notification with whatever is happening going on. I'm sure I'm going to be posting at least a video or two before the day's over, so make sure you go do that. I love you, and I will see you all tomorrow for some more debates. And I hope that we don't go into war with Iran tonight, but it's a very scary possibility. But Parker, see you, man.